Okay, hey, welcome to the podcast. We're gonna try this, see if it works. Oh, balls, of course. It's not gonna work for me right now. There it is. Oh, baby. Sorry, I got two turntables and a microphone here. I'm fucking using two phones, the one you're looking at me on, recording that screen, presentation on there, and recording myself. I got my Wi-Fi phone, which I'm using for my outline, and to record this podcast in audio form. So, a lot of juggling when you don't work with computers. Cool. Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a while, right? Thanks for tuning into the podcast. This one's taken me a fucking minute to put together because there's so many things to remember. There's just so much shit, man. Like, it really took me about a week to put this together, think about it, because I don't want you guys to keep coming back to the watering hole if I'm not going to be giving you something new, you know? So, basically, we're going to be talking about travel. Specifically, there's going to be some things we talk about here in San Diego because of what's going on, the crazy shit that's going on that literally no one is talking about. Basically, the military community is like pushing people out, but there's like, I hate using the word psyop, but a lot of like misinformation, disinformation while this was happening here in San Diego. The contractors came through here. The local cartel is helping do this. Basically, the military feels very entitled to the city of San Diego and who they think should be here, who shouldn't be here. So a lot of steps have been taken to implement infrastructure, literal infrastructure, and also methods of pushing people the fuck out of the city, people they think are a security risk, whatever. It is the largest concentration of military personnel and military contractors, excuse me, in the nation, in the absolute nation. We're the nation with the largest military, and San Diego has the largest concentration of those people from military industrial complex, military personnel, etc. Here in this, so, you know, where Detroit might be the motor city, maybe, you know, the auto industry has a lot of pull on things that happen in the city and what have you. You know, LA is like the entertainment capital, so entertainment industry has a lot of pull on things that happen in the city. San Diego is the military capital, pretty much, of the nation. So they have a lot of pull, and they have a lot of research, and they have a lot of things that they know how to do, know how to manipulate information, know how to control subgroups. They have personnel on the ground, a lot of field agents, living cover lives in the city, because security is about layers. It's about onion layers. And around 2016, 2017, they were using the fact that everyone was paying attention to Trump as a great distraction to do that. That's why we had the Mesh News Project, aside from the JFK Jr. documentary, which, you know, from what I'm understanding is why they thought they should clean house, because they thought somebody told that to me, not that it was a sloppy whistleblower. Anyways, so I couldn't tell my story, and I couldn't blow the whistle on the human rights abuses here, because it's pretty obvious that they were ready for it. So today's podcast is going to be a mixture of how to kind of, if you're one of the people here in San Diego subject to this, how to deal with this, and also if you're in Cointelpro or even a gangstalking target, how you could, you know, muscle through this, because it's a fucking living nightmare. And I know I look great from all the fucking stress. Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and move forward here. And, yeah. So, let's first and foremost talk about traveling. All the things you need for travel. I mean, we're gonna go. It's gonna be it's gonna be a large podcast, but I got this presentation put together. I had to think about all the things I had to say, all the things that you should worry about, all the things that you're gonna slip up, all the mistakes I made from my 10 years in the Cointelpro program. Because it's expensive. You make a lot of expensive mistakes, buying the wrong shit, doing the wrong things, putting yourself in the hospital because you ate tainted food that was made for you, or put there for you, or you know what I'm saying. And it's really expensive, and there's a lot of mistakes to make, and there was literally nothing like this for me to do this. I was lucky enough to have some local military contractors who didn't like what the fuck was going on help me on some of these things, and it's only fair that I do this shit for you guys, because this doesn't exist. This does not exist. And like I say always with my other podcast, if people are selling some sort of gangstalking guide, Cointelpro guide, some sort of, you know, government targeting guide, if you're being targeted by the government, you shouldn't. It's when the government you're on the government shit list, all rules are off the table. Your constitutional rights don't matter. They'll freeze your fucking bank accounts. Like, yeah. They really just, it does, you as an American citizen, the things that you're supposed to have, your rights and whatever, does not fucking matter anymore. You are a threat to the state. However you get on that disposition matrix, which basically deems whether or not you're in Cointelpro. So all the rules, they do not go by the rules. So, you know, for someone to charge people, which I've seen like books and guides, etc., for you to charge somebody to go through, it's just insane. You're obviously not in the program if you don't understand what people are going through. So let's go over this. First and foremost, everything you need about traveling, because they have you moving a lot, because they don't like you to get comfortable. It's just all part of the program. It's part of the psychological, mental abuse. They like to wear you down. So they're going to have you on the move. They're going to have you barely holding on. You might be sleeping in your fucking car. Whatever. They'll make sure you can't work. Can't pay your fucking bills. So, here's all the things you need to know about traveling around while into Cointelpro. Let's first start with packing. First and foremost, you want to get yourself like a large backpack. Obviously, you're going to have to put a lot of stuff, but pack light at the same time. Does that make sense? You don't want to load yourself down with luggage and shit like that in case you need to fucking hottail it, get the fuck out, whatever. You're putting your life on your back. And this might look like a bigger backpack. It is a substantially larger backpack, but it's not like a camping rucksack or whatever. And the reason why I picked this backpack is I think it's preferred just because the theft prevention. You're going to get people constantly trying to pick your pockets. They're going to try to take the money out of your pocket. They want to keep you poor. They want to keep your options out. So this backpack is really good for anti-theft because, you know, you can only get in it by unrolling it, etc. So nobody can get behind you and slowly do your zippers. And, you know what I'm saying, when you're in public, let's say, sometimes, you know, you're going to put your backpack down or what have you. You're just going to get tired of it. Just trust me on this shit. You're going to get tired of it. You're not going to want to carry that shit around. It's going to be harder for someone to get into it, fuck with shit, what have you, well, you know, without going through a process. So this backpack with the roll down top, I mean, I wouldn't put anything in this back zipper at all, but it is, and you can see how big it is. You can fit a fucking helmet in there. So it's still a substantially large backpack, but it doesn't, it's right before you hit that threshold for like a camping rucksack, but you still won't look like a weirdo in public, which is something you also want to maintain in case you're trying to get help from people. You don't want to seem like a fucking, you know, fucking vagabond. So I recommend these. There's also some anti-theft backpacks that have the zippers on the inside, so the zippers only face your back, so you have to be there, but, you know, those things kind of fall apart. Believe me, as somebody who's bought 1 million of these. Let me turn this volume up on this bitch. I think that's it. Cool. Replace all the zippers. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know that anything metal can be radiated. Things that are plastic can be radiated, but for some reason they really like radiation. They can radiate metal, etc., of things that you order that are going to get to you. And then when metal becomes irradiated, it's kind of like radioactive. And if it's near you, touching your body, you're absorbing that radioactivity. And it's going to weigh on your immune system. It's going to make you fucking sick. It's going to make you tired. So immediately, any kind of zippers or hanging zippers, jingling zippers, not the actual zipper itself, but the handle to the zipper, the metal. Get rid of those things. Usually you can bend up the teeth to pull the thing out and then press down that little loop down that's attached to the actual zipper cloth part. And then use these black zip ties. They're plastic. You can get them at the hardware store. And that eliminates the metal. But check the backpack for everything. There's a lot of these newer backpacks, they want to add a bunch of options in them. So they'll have like little carabiner hooks in certain pockets and whatever. You want to check the whole bag for shit like that. Because as you're walking around, you're going to be noticing like, man, I'm feeling like shit. What's going on? I know nothing I packed, is radioactive. Like, what the fuck? There's something in your backpack or whatever. That manufacturing process, they've captured when was being shipped to you or what have you. They capture it, they'll radiate the shit out of the metal and then get you the bag. So like if it's overnight or whatever, all night when it's sitting in that warehouse waiting for the morning people to get delivered. Unfortunately, NSA does those sorts of things. They will intercept your packages if you're on, like a government shit list, because Patriot Act. Thank God, right? Patriot Act. So I recommend getting like a filtered water bottle. They have hand pump filters, etc., but those things get all fucked up. I wouldn't get these things shipped to you. I've gotten many of these filters, not this particular, but there's different kinds. There's like Life Straw, and they'll already adulterate the filter. They'll put like a chemical in it, or they'll even radiate the carbon filter of it. I don't know why they just love the radiation, bro. It's like silent. It makes you look like you got cancer. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing that looks like on your body. Like, you can mistake side effects of radiation for just such a myriad of things. And if you're already dealing with corrupt medical staff, they can just write that down. Just whatever. Heart attack, fucking whatever. Radiation does some really fucked up shit to your body, which is why they love to do it. So, I like these in bottle. This is my personal thing. Just because you can buy like packs of these filters, like fucking 20 of them, and it's like year supply. And it's light. You're not carrying a whole bunch of shit. Don't all run out and get this fucking thing at the same time. God knows, especially in San Diego, they're probably gonna whatever. I usually buy stuff when I'm not looking for it, when I'm not ready to buy the thing. If I'm there to buy eggs, and I will go buy a water bottle, I'll be like, oh, boom, I'm gonna get that. I need that. But I would purchase this because, there's going to be really a lot of opportunities where even the tap water will be adulterated. And that sounds silly, unless you're in the fucking program, you know what the fuck you're talking about. They're trying to slowly diminish your health. They want to kill your fucking spirit. They want to fucking beat your ass down. So there's that. But these are great. The filter's in there. Keep in mind, this doesn't protect you from heavy water, which I've known contractors who get paid to abuse you. If you are in the program, they'll replace it with heavy water. Basically, heavy water is irradiated water or radioactive wastewater from so it's radioactive. You drink that, consume that. Or this also doesn't filter out pesticides, etc. There's much more intense filters for that, but sometimes they'll put certain things in there and it'll make it better. I mean, if they put chlorine in your water, they do some fucked up shit. Currently, even in my living situation, all the tap water here is all fucked with. So I can't even drink tap water in my house. If you've heard for the past podcasts, your internet is filtered. So if you're trying to find a place to live that's cost effective, what have you, they're going to filter your internet options. So you only land at like contractors' houses, or sometimes contractors will just rent out an Airbnb and then put a bunch of hide cams in here or whatever, say he's the fucking landlord, and tamper with some shit. So, because you can rent Airbnbs by like the month. So there's that, but this is good for water. I was rambling there. So I recommend these. These are kind of just because it's light, not because this is the only filter you should drink from. This is mainly for travel. etc. There's gonna be lots of opportunities when you're in your hotel room, etc. And your shit's gonna be fucked with. So you gotta have an option. The filters can be adulterated. If they get a hold of the filters, you're not watching your bag. If you fall asleep and don't secure your room, someone comes in, goes through your shit. The filters can get fucked up. So keep that in mind too. So you toss that, put another one of those things. But you get like a box of 20. It's supposed to be good for a year for a normal person, not going through this shit. This is good to have in your bag because it's basically a little washing machine. It's like a hand washing thing, and if you're in the program, you don't have a lot of opportunities to wash things. Sometimes things will be sabotaged. You might have your water coming into whatever place you're in being fucked with. People constantly breaking into your stuff, breaking in your house, what have you. The police aren't going to be helping you, so they're going to adulterate your fucking laundry soap. So this is a great option to have. You can put it in your bag for travel. It's a bag, so you can roll it down to something small, but it has little scrubby nubs on here. You can see right here the little nubs, and it's good for like 3 items. You can hand wash it because when you're running around, you get dirty. You can't shower every place because of some of the stuff we're going to go into. But this is a good option for you to have if you need to wash something, because you can get ambushed with that radiation shit at laundromats, or your house might not be safe. So this is good. Have this also in your bag. I would say have 3 pairs of socks and underwear. That means 2 pairs of underwear and socks are in the bag, and 1 is on your person, believe it or not, because we're trying to travel light. So when you need to wash things, use the scrubby bag. If you're in an emergency, we'll go into more options for that kind of thing. But remember, your life has to fit in this bag because they're going to have you on the fucking move. So I recommend that. Get yourself 3 charging bricks. These are 20 milliamp hours. I only recommend getting ones that don't have a seam. Do you see how this has this rubberized cover over the whole thing? And this is good because if you purchase one of these things, what's going to happen is they like to switch out your stuff with tampered ones, things that'll steal your data, things that'll track you, etc. There's this particular brand called Mobizin. I think I got one right over here. Hold on. Morphe. You see that? Morphe. It's probably backwards because of the camera. See how this has no seams? No seams. Comes from China like that. There's a lot of those charge bricks. This is a 20 milliamp hour ones. They have the metal seam right there from when they closed it up and they put the battery in there or whatever. And that is, you can have that shit happen, and they'll switch it out with something, and they don't have one that's fucked up. Maybe they put like a little GPS bug in here. They can put like a data scrape in here, and then when you've plugged your phone in here to charge it, it's scraping data, and then they'll just find another opportunity to steal this from you, and then all the data that was on your phone. So look for the ones that are, don't just get the Morphe ones. There's many other ones that have this completely sealed outer thing that they put, outer dealie that they put on these things. Yeah, I think it's like vulcanized, so it can't be like cut into and modified. Someone can't buy one and switch it out with a modified one. I recommend getting 3 of those 20. Why? Because if you're in a position where you can't charge your phone or what have you, understand your phone is your motherfucking lifeline sometimes. It's also a thing that's probably tracking you, probably fucking you up. But if you need to make something, if you need to document some of your abuse, what have you, you gotta have juice. I recommend getting 3 of those. They're kind of pricey. There's less pricey ones, but 20 milliamp hours, and look for ones that are like sealed as AF. Get yourself some Gorilla Glue tape. I would say about 2 rolls. Put those in the bag. Get the wide if you can. And if you don't look like a crazy person, maybe get the white, and we'll go over that more later. But the Gorilla Glue tape is the fucking best shit. You have no idea how much you're going to be using this shit while you're traveling. It has so many different uses, and you wouldn't even think you need it. Keep in mind, it's a roll, but it's cardboard. So you could technically, like, squish that roll, the inner roll of the cardboard, and make it kind of squishy, like like a, you know, so roll like that and make it like that, so you can fit 2 in your bag and fit more shit. But I recommend getting 2 of those. And you're going to be buying these recurring, believe it or not, as you're traveling. Also get construction adhesive. All-purpose construction adhesive. Get the white stuff. We're going to go into that because you're going to need that to, when you're jumping around from hotels and Airbnbs and places to stay, you have no fucking clue how many ways there are to get into your fucking spot so they can get access to your stuff. And the reason why they're getting access to your stuff is so they can adulterate it, they can tamper with it, they can swap it out with irradiated stuff. Because what these contractors like to do at the end of their let's say you're in, you know, the government wants you to be watched for 4 or 5 years. You somehow ended up on the Displacement Matrix, which is basically like the newer version of the kill list, but also has people that the state wants to just watch. Or they call it rendering, because they also use enhanced torture and shit. So they want to tamper with your stuff, and at the end of the contract, right, the government doesn't care if you die during the thing during natural causes, but they like to not try to kill people. I know, right? That sounds weird. But the contractors, a lot of the contractors are pieces of shit. So they like to plan it out. So by the end of your government babysitting contract, that you die of cancer, and then they're most likely going to take out like an illegal life insurance policy on you. And so not only did they get paid way too much money to fucking watch somebody who's a non-threat, usually, is then they get a big balloon payment at the end. And it's just kind of this abused part of the system that happens. So we gotta keep that in mind. So that's why it's important to have these materials. I'm gonna go into that a little later. But get the white construction adhesive if you can. There's all-purpose stuff. You don't have to just get the Gorilla stuff, but I'm trying to think of like the stuff in a tube that you can put in your bag, because you got to fit a lot. We're going to go over more. Get yourself a pair of cargo shorts and cargo pants. But the cargo pants, I think, should be a little nicer when you have to wear pants. Hopefully it's not cold. San Diego, we don't have weather, so this might change depending on your locale. But as you can see here, the reason why I do the cargo shorts, I don't like cargo shorts, but it's like, you know what I'm saying, so you have to put everything in that backpack. You have more options with the cargo shorts to put shit there in case maybe you need extra stuff. You've got like, I don't know, you're traveling with snacks or whatever. You don't want to go in and out of your theft-proof backpack all the fucking time. You don't want to carry it. And also, you don't want to put, with cargo pants, you don't want to put your wallet in your back pocket when you're in this program, because like I said, they're going to constantly be trying to take money from you, you know, scan your card from your pocket. So if you have it in these front parts of the pocket, you know what I'm saying, the front cargo pant pockets in your shorts, you can put your wallet there, put a phone charger there, what have you, etc. So with the pants, I say get a little bit nicer, because with the pants you might need to meet with a journalist, meet with somebody if you're trying to make your abuse stop. You don't want to look like a fucking asshole off the fucking street. So maybe get a little bit nicer, but also have the cargo pant option to put things like a wallet, etc. I do recommend getting like a dollar store sewing kit and sewing in some Velcro on the flaps of all the pockets. A lot of them have buttons, but also add the Velcro, so because they're pickpockets, and you know, like if criminals have been told to fuck with you or what have you, they can get in those bitches too. So you add an extra layer of protection, but they're more likely going to pick shit in the back pocket, not in a front pocket. But they're slimy. They like to distract you looking at something over here, and then somebody might come and get into your pocket, your front pocket, you know, on your cargo pant or whatever there. So keep that in mind. Also want to get yourself like a belt. Get yourself a plastic buckle belt, not metal, because as we're learning here, metal belts, you know, metal gets radiated. Here's my plastic belt. It looks like a belt, but get one that's plastic and a plastic buckle, because as you put things in those pockets, it might start to sag, and you know, you never know, you need to fucking hightail it or whatever. You don't want to start sagging and look like a piece of shit. This is for men, whatever the female equivalent of this is. Practical shit. Here's the clothing items I think you should put in this bag. Because remember, we've got limited space. We've got to put everything we need to not look like a piece of shit, but also have our life on our back. So all of your, as much as you can buy, you might want to start looking into athletic wear. Because athletic wear is built for sweat and prolonged use, etc. And while you're in this program, you, like I said, you're not going to have every opportunity to do a regular regimen for like bathing, etc. You might have like your water tampered, like with me. You might have, you can't wash clothes regularly because, you know what I'm saying, we'll go into that more. I think I have gone into it. But usually when you're at laundromats and stuff like that, when I've noticed when I was in this program, or I still am, they're, at least in San Diego, we have the cartel here, and we got a lot of poor Hispanic people, and the cartel kind of runs shit, and they'll call immigration on people if they don't. Hey, we're looking for this guy, blah blah blah, and the cartel also likes to like act like they're the heroes of their community. They'll feed people, whatever. So the people have like a bondage. So if the cartel is being paid to fucking step on your neck, just local people in the Hispanic community, at least for San Diego, they're gonna keep an eye out for you. They'll fucking tell on you. They'll tell people when you're at certain places. They're like little security cameras, but all over San Diego. We're right by the border here, and the military has a pretty good relationship with the cartel here, unfortunately. So you'll have people, and a lot of the locals who aren't part of the cartel, but like they're loyal. They'll be told, hey, if you see this guy, he wants to, you know, he's like a fucking child predator. He's a fucking, you know, he stole some money from us, you know, he beat up this guy's girlfriend. Like, they'll just make up something, and not every Mexican is a criminal, you know, but they're loyal to the people they know will call fucking La Migra on them. But they're not going to tell them, hey, we're getting paid to watch this dude, because then it might be lucrative for them to ask, you know, I'll tell you where the guy is if you fucking, you know, Venmo me $100 right now, whatever. So they just demonize you, and they'll send out a picture of you, what have you. And while those people in the community will actually, what I've noticed with me is, I won't be paying attention to my clothes at a laundromat. They'll put shit in my washer while it's washing, you know, for the soap adding part, and then it'll be like some real toxic shit I remember putting on my clothes and then just fucking passing out one time. Whatever they put, your skin is an organ, it absorbs things. So think about sportswear stuff, because you're gonna have to wear it a while before you get to wash it in your little scrubby bag. So you want the breathable sports stuff like golf shirts, shit like that. I don't enjoy this, but as you can see, there's more stylish contemporary options, because you also, even though you're under this program, and they're gonna make it so it's gonna be hard to groom yourself, they're gonna make it so you're fucking tired, you probably look like shit, they're gonna fucking make you scared and freaked out, afraid to talk to people. It's important to maintain some sort of fucking demeanor. So think about these options. Think about breathable materials. So get yourself a polo, get yourself another sports shirt, but a t-shirt version of that sports fabric, and then get an undershirt of that sports fabric. And you're going to wear all three, believe it or not. Even in San Diego, you're going to wear all three. And this comes in handy because you might have a tail. Sometimes they get pretty aggressive, and you might have a tail, and they're fucking with you hard. And you need to try to lose somebody in like a crowd, or, I mean, it just happens, man. It sounds silly. I feel silly talking about it because I understand what having a normal life feels like. But so you might need to take off certain items to look like a different person. If you lose someone for a little bit, you take the stairs or what have you. So it's good to have these three different layers on, so when you need to shed, you can look like a different person. And then, yeah, so you have this button up, you know, so button up or polo, and then have a t-shirt underneath the polo or button up, and then under that have a tank top and whatever the female equivalent of that be. But because these layers, they breathe, you can wear them for many days, and you can only have limited shit in your backpack. But you can also shed these layers and look like a different person if somebody's fucking with you and you need to lose them. And it happens. It fucking happens, believe it or not. Sometimes they'll turn the heat up on you. I think the best saying is, you know you're over the enemy when you're taking fire. I think that's a military saying. And that's true. If you're doing something that they don't want you doing, if you're meeting with people they don't want you to meet with, if you're talking about stuff or you're posting about shit online they don't want you fucking talking about, you'll take fire. You'll get people fucking with you. You'll get that radiation shit hit at you. They will let you know when you aren't supposed to be doing something they don't want you to do. So yeah. And then get the button-up shirt. Now you want to keep your colors mute because you don't want to stand out. You don't want to fucking wear a bright orange shirt. I mean, I wear this, but I got so much heat on me, dog. All I can do is give you guys tips now at this point. Unfortunately, that's just kind of what But yeah, so don't wear bright shit like this. Don't do what I say. Don't do as I do. Do as I say at this point. Just because of just the enormous amount of heat I have. While you're just beginning in the program, what have you, there is some hope that you can, if you document it right and save the files, they don't get stolen from you or wiped or hacked and erased. There's a couple year window of opportunity where you can have to reverse your abuse. And hope this is the advice for that, obviously. So use mute colors: dark blue, gray, brown, a black shirt. Muted colors, because when you're shedding these items, you don't want to stand out. You don't want to be shedding these items and then have like a fucking, a bright pink tank top or whatever. So think about muted colors. You're gonna have your deodorant, because like I said, there's not gonna be a lot of opportunities to do things like taking a shower every day, washing your fucking clothes. So get yourself some deodorant. Get the colored stuff. Try not to get the clear stuff. The clear stuff can be adulterated easily. The colored stuff is a little harder to adulterate. So you need the deodorant. Get the fucking 2-pack. I say get the 2-pack is because there's a good chance it hasn't been adulterated, or, what I'm saying, because they pay attention to you. They know the brands you like. They'll have somebody at the store working there. Usually like organized crime people. Organized people and organized crime love getting cover jobs. The reason why, they have 2 reasons for cover jobs. One is so they can, oh no, I got this money from working. This isn't, money from organized crime. And then the cartel loves infrastructure. Auto shops, fucking Walmarts, whatever. The bank, the bank jobs, believe it or not. Because they like to know what's going on in the city. And if someone's trying to move around, it becomes another source of income to watch people, especially in a military town. So, especially in San Diego. But keep in mind, they pay attention to your brand. So I say get this 2-pack, the value pack, because it's been sealed. There's more seals to it. There's more drama to adulterate it. So, go for that. Go for the colored stuff. Don't pick a particular brand, but like the light blue kind of stuff. If you're gonna pick a toothpaste, get a ribbon one. Don't get one that's all white. Don't get one that's all blue. Get one that's a ribbon, because what I found in the many times my dental care items were adulterated is they like to put like some sort of, not a syringe, but something like a syringe inside the toothpaste, and they'll squirt something inside there. So when you use it, you're putting that in your mouth and your gums. You might swallow a little bit, and there's something, they'll put something in it. So with the ribbon, you can tell as you're squirting it out if the ribbon's been disturbed because of how the manufacturing process is, how they put the thing in the tube. So if the ribbon looks disturbed as it's coming out of the tube, oh, somebody got my shit while sleeping or what have you, and they adulterated it. Now, when I'm traveling in hotels, which they'll have you doing, running around, or even if you're just sleeping in your car, you can always get soap, because there's lots of ways that you can make a soap bar look legit, or liquid soap. It's clear. It's a normal color. You can push it in there, shake it up. So I would get, if you're having that problem with your toiletries, I would think about getting soap bars from these carts. like the hotel ladies, whatever, when they're changing shit out. And less likely that they're going to have like 50 adulterated bars of soap in their cart in case you show up. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work. These people who are contracted to do this shit, they're lazy. They don't like a lot of drama. They want to automate it or make it as easy as possible because it's a business. They're contractors. So it's about making money and doing the least amount of work. I recommend getting yourself a flagship phone. I like the Samsung Note series because it's like having a complete computer. You don't want to have a laptop. You don't want to have a fucking tablet. It's about staying light. It's about being able to move if you need to move. And also, when you got 3 of these bad 20 milliamp hour batteries, you're going to have 2 days worth of fucking shit. So if you need to work on stuff, or you know, you're talking to a reporter and like, hey, we put together all this stuff. Look, this is how this abuse is happening. And I got all this video. With this Note, it's got the fucking pen. Super fast. It's faster than some, I want to say, lower end laptops. It's got this thing called DeX mode, where it's like a desktop. So if you have like a TV you trust, you can project a whole working computer. It's like a whole desktop mode, looks like Windows, and use all your apps on there. But then, you know what I'm saying, you can go somewhere else and use the pen to get really, you know, fine details. It's just, yeah. Don't get a laptop. Don't travel with a laptop. The laptop is big. It can be fucked with. There's lots of nooks and crannies. Somebody get a hold of your laptop, open it up when you're sleeping, unscrew it, put like a GPS bug in there, put a fucking, you know, switch out all the metal screws for irradiated ones, and you have that in your bag, and you're taking all that all day. And these glass phones don't have a lot of, like, you know, when someone's fucking opened one up or repaired one, it's just kind of, it's not out of the box from the factory kind of thing. So I recommend these. I mean, if it is an all glass phone, so, you know, I wrap the back in like black duct tape, and then I get one of these harder OtterBox cases, but all plastic. Make sure all your cases are plastic. Some of these OtterBox cases, to protect your phone, they have like a little piece of metal in the back. You don't want those. You want the ones that are all plastic, all polyurethane, whatever, because they will radiate that. I had a problem doing that when I was using my phone, and I would just be so drained. I had no idea, and it was because there was a metal insert in the back of and they captured that when it was on its way to me and irradiated it, and I put it in using my phone. I had it close to my fucking face. So keep that in mind. That's what I recommend. No laptops, no tablets. Yeah. Get yourself a fast charging brick. Get the fastest fast charging brick. Get the manufacturer's fast charging brick. Don't get any aftermarket. Get the one from the manufacturer. Why is that? Well, first and foremost, for some reason the phone likes the stuff from the manufacturer, and 2, it's less likely a chance that it's been fucked with. A lot of the shittier things you can get from like Walmart, the off-brand shit, what they'll do, they'll just, you know, you'll have a tail and they'll just watch you buy that shit. Or if they're watching your purchases on your card, depending on how many of your constitutional rights they've taken from you and are allowed to watch you, they'll see your purchases and they'll go purchase that thing, open it up, figure out the guts in it. They might buy 2 in case they fuck up on one, and put things in there, data scrapers, etc. You have no idea. Data scrapers with data to inject things in your phone fit on the USB-C type, not the big part that plugs into the charger. The little part that goes into your phone, they've now built chips that they can put inside there, right? Just swap out your cable, what have you, to impregnate your phone with malware and also scrape it. And so every time you're charging your phone, you're actually doing your phone a lot of damage. So get the stuff from the manufacturer. I recommend, to supersede that, is take your fast charger, plug it into a official branded contact charger. This one looks like a little disc, like a flat little saucer. And if you're not plugging things into your phone, there's less likely an opportunity for things to infect your phone. Think about that. So trying not to plug anything into your phone ever is probably going to be the best thing for you. Less likelihood someone's going to do something, you know, give you fuck with your charger or what have you. So if you get one of these little flat contact chargers and plug it in and have a fast charger plugged into it, it won't charge as fast as a fast charger. It'll be more traditional, but you won't have to worry about data being transferred, just electricity. And then, you know, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about getting somebody swapping out your cable for a data scraper cable, etc. There's no data, it's just power. So that's a smart option. But if you do need to get cables, I recommend these cables with an elbow. Get like a 10-foot one, get a couple of them. Again, don't get the cheap shit. The cheap shit is always the stuff that they're gonna have adulterated because they know that they're keeping you poor, so you're gonna be thinking fiscally. But if you want to think long term on shit you don't want to have to keep buying, stuff you don't think is gonna be radiated, whatever. Now these have a plastic cap, they're not metal. The only thing that's metal is this little tiny piece right here. The metal part that's showing. So it's less likely that these will be irradiated to this particular brand. But get the elbow cables so they don't break, so you don't have to keep buying shit because Cointelpro is expensive. Now, the reason why I say get this IQ charger, this is a fast charger, believe it, super fast, is for your 3 bricks. Remember, your 3 power bricks. So you plug your 3 power bricks in that. You never plug your fucking phone in that because they can just buy one and then look how much room's in there. Considering how small they can make those chips now, and they'll just solder them into the board or whatever. And it happens. You have no idea that shit happens. It's not hard to know how to, you know, micro solder. You can go on YouTube right now and learn how to do that. This is something very common that happens. Well, at least in San Diego, like I said. So get that for all your fucking batteries. And that'll fast charge your batteries because 20 milliamp hours, it takes a minute to fucking charge these bitches. I recommend getting like a little pocket moleskin so you can jot down notes, because if you're putting every note into your phone and you have contractors on your nuts, it's most likely they're going to have permission to use the built-in backdoors that the NSA strong-armed manufacturers to do, believe it or not. They strong-arm those motherfuckers. They say, you know, you can play ball, we'll make you a $1 trillion company, Apple, and you put these backdoors in your fucking phone or not. So contractors have access to these backdoors, and believe it or not, San Diego has a weird culture with the contractors and the cartel. The contractors will sell shit to the fucking cartels, bro. They'll pay. The cartels will pay extra. They're on top of that digital game, bro. Like, the cartel isn't, they're not a bunch of dumb monkeys, man. They're smart about it. They got people, they got engineers and shit. Like, it's like a miniature government. You know what I'm saying? So the cartels are up on their digital game, bro. So you don't want to put every fucking note you have or thought you have or things you need to do, whatever, in your phone. So have like a little moleskin. You know, or if you're going to get a binder because you want to write more stuff down, you're putting together material because you're trying to maybe go to the press or whatever, you want to get everything together. Don't put it in all on your phone. Put it in your binder. But notice how these binders right here are plastic. You want to make sure you get the plastic coil binder because it's not metal, like we're talking about. You notice the moleskin, there's no metal on that. And also keep in mind that books actually absorb lots of radiation, so they can radiate the shit out of paper or books or what have you. So if they know you're gonna go pick up another one, they might swap out the first 3 options with something radiated. Believe it or not, Marie Curie's notes, you know Marie Curie, the scientist lady, her notes are still radioactive, believe it or not, even though they're in a museum of how, you know, how she progressed science. So these things absorb quite a bit, and you know what I'm saying? I recommend if you're gonna pick up one of these, do it as an afterthought. Don't research how much. You understand? If your phone's being watched, don't research how, you know, where can I find plastic ring notebooks at Walmart? Which Walmart around me? Now they're gonna know that. Do you understand? Now they're gonna know that because your phone is being watched because you're, you know, on a shit list. So keep in mind that paper, books, even books. So if you have books in your fucking bag, those can be irradiated. Keep that in mind. So, but this is better option for jotting down notes than your phone. Now, I keep mentioning the radiation part. Usually when you don't notice it or feel it because you become sensitive to it. You won't feel the radiation, but your body will be very malaised, get easily malaised. You could just feel yourself just like about to fall apart, or you can pass out or what have you. After about 18 months of that radiation exposure, you start to develop hot spots, and those are basically nerves. You're feeling your nerves go ow, but you're not actually feeling the radiation. But you'll get hot spots. You'll start to get really weak when you get exposed to radiation. So I can be telling you, hey, watch out for the radiation now, and you're just like, shut up, whatever. Ooh, you don't understand. It creeps on you, right? It fucking creeps, and then sooner or later you're like, fuck, this is fucking real. I'm getting fucked up. It's also the reason why we don't do long-term space travel, because cosmic radiation, believe it or not, we're having a hard time getting people. We're gonna have a hard time getting people to Mars because there's this 4-year problem. We can't expose people to radiation like that for space travel outside of the magnetosphere of the planet. The body will break down, and it takes longer than 4 years to get there and come back. We don't know what the fuck we're gonna do, because it'll creep on you, man. It'll fucking drag you. So keep that in mind. So I keep talking about the radiation. Mitigate that shit now before your body becomes sensitive. Okay, when your body starts to become sensitive is when you're 50-50, 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the grave. Am I gonna fucking make it or not? And the long-term drawn-out exposure, I think, is worse than maybe like being 100 miles away from a fucking Hiroshima blast. That's just one time, where this is prolonged forever. Your body is replicating cells and repairing itself with the exposure. It's gonna fuck you up. So mitigate that shit now with the metal. Make sure you don't have metal, around metal shit in your office. If you have an all wood desk, make use Japanese carpentry for your furniture if you can. Keep in mind that there's methods to hide nails inside wood and stuff like that, so pay attention to the grain or whatever. I know I'm getting off on another topic, but I stress this: radiated shit, metal, whatever, radiation creep. It fucking creeps on you. You're not gonna notice, and you're gonna be fucked. Once you finally have the situational awareness, you're like, holy fuck, this is real. I can feel it when they hit me now. Then you're gonna know. Now you're trying to mitigate the damage. There's already been some good damage. Plastic pens. Don't get the metal pens. I know there's maybe a little metal tip there, but they're not gonna fucking spend all day radiating that shit. They want something significant, so it sheds, I don't know, electrons, protons, whatever the fuck that shit's called. Get a camera tripod for your phone in case you need to record videos like this with my beautiful face. There's something called the pocket tripod. It's 100% plastic. It fits in your wallet because, right, we're worried about space. And that bitch turns. It has a swivel on it. Like, doesn't look like nothing right now, but it has like a swivel on it. You can use it all different ways, so you can pitch it and stuff like that. But it's plastic. It's light, but it still does the job. If you're so inclined, like for me, they like to shoot this radiation shit into my lower spine, and that's because they want to limit my mobility, because what it does is it causes your vertebrae to herniate after a while, because you got your spinal column there. There's a lot of nerve fibers there, and it'll start to herniate those areas and make it so you can't run, because when you run, you're working against gravity, and that'll push on your spine after. So the radiation is meant to herniate those things. So unfortunately, you have to sit down because it's going to put some stress on your back. So, keep that in mind. So I have one of these things. It literally, this is how thick it is. Doesn't even go up to my jaw, but it expands pretty big, And that's good because the hardware in chairs are metal, screws, etc. So even if they're not going to radiate the shit out of your metal office chair, they're going to do it to the screws, they're going to do it to the bolts underneath your rolling office chair. So you get that. I mean, there is like a little tiny metal rivet, and there's a spring inside of it to make it more like cool, I guess, when you pull it out. I just rip those things out. I recommend you do too, but if you need a chair and you don't want to carry around an inflatable, like I said, it's all about space in the bag. This will help you right there. Get one of these vacuum seal bags. You're gonna need two, one for your dirty, one for your clean, in your backpack. I only recommend carrying 2 bags on you and only using the smaller bags. The reason being is we've had some reports of some people bad things happen to them here in San Diego. There's people involved with the change over here, and they are getting rid of people. And what they'll do is they'll make you into smaller parts and put you inside the very things you've been carrying around. So, and then vacuum seal it, and then they'll take you out in rolling luggage or something out of the hotel or what have you, unfortunately. And also recommend the pumps, because this is a vacuum thing, so it squishes everything, so more things can fit in your bag. Get the ones without the there's usually a dowel in here for the pump, but there's ones with a plastic dowel, so you don't get the radiated metal. Get those, and it's going to come with a whole shit ton of bags. Do yourself a favor, you know, get a pocket knife, slash all those fucking bags so they can't be used, throw the rest of them in the trash. You use only the 2 little small ones. They're not going to fit your whole ass in 2 small things. So anyways, they love to do that though. They love to use your own shit if they need to get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I recommend not using tall ass rolling luggage if you're hopping hotels like they like to do. They usually do that so you dwindle your savings, believe it or not. Because money equals options. If you've been listening to our podcast, money equals options. Let me check how long I got here on this podcast. On here, because I only have like an hour per. Okay, 52, perfect. But yeah, they love to use your own shit on you. So, and they usually have people hopping around hotel from hotel. They'll put you in a spot where they'll make it so you can't find a new place to live, you can't find a new apartment. Or they'll, you know, because you use your phone to communicate with these places. They'll redirect your calls somewhere else. Fucking, they'll make it so your only option is to stay in fucking hotels or Airbnbs. They do that so you burn through your fucking savings, because if you have money, you have options to fight back. But don't carry any more than 2 of these little tiny ones. And don't get the metal dowel. I also recommend getting like one of these lame ass bags, because you can put your wallet there, you can put your phone right there. Less attention you have to put down to your other pockets. It's less likely your shit's gonna get stolen. And make sure you get the ones that are all plastic and nylon or whatever with the nylon buckle. Don't get any metal zipper. If you have the metal zipper, like I said, replace that shit with the fucking zip tie on the hook. But yeah, these little, what are these things called? Chest bags or sling bags or whatever. I don't know. Man bags, man purse. They look lame, but it's about functionality. But also keep in mind, it might more easily identify you if you have a sling bag in the backpack. So it's up to your discretion. That's an option if you get pickpocketed, even with the fucking cargo shenanigans. I recommend having 3 hats. You can have 3 different types of hats, like a beanie, you know, a baseball cap, or I don't know what other kind of fucking hats are. But neutral colors. So, like I said, if you have to lose somebody, you need to change your appearance. Maybe you just had your hair going, you know what I'm saying? And then you need to put on a fucking baseball cap and you shed something before you try to skip out on someone. It's really good. You know those beach bags that you use to put all your beach shit in? It's like plastic, but it's like super thin. And it has just like a drawstring. Those are also good to put in your backpack. So what you do is when you do that is you put your backpack in that like beach bag. You don't talk about the beach bags, the beach bag backpacks. It's just one drawstring. It's super thin. It's like a tent material, but it's usually for beach shit. You keep that in your backpack, and then if you need to change your appearance, right? And you know there's some assholes trying to run you down or whatever, You change your appearance, you change your fucking hat, you know, you take off a piece of clothing, and then you pull that thing out, and it's super small, right? It can compact, put your backpack in that. And so now, not only have you changed your hat, you changed your shirt, now your bag is different, but you still keep your bag with you, because your bag can be an identifier, you understand? But yeah, 3 different types of hats. Get yourself a first aid kit, get a small one, put it in the bag. It's all about space. Take off the little fucking zipper. Metal. It's bad, I'm telling you. Get yourself some masks. Get neutral colored masks, you know? See how these are all neutral colors? So you can blend in. If you're trying to escape someone, you can change your whole appearance real fast. Let's go into hotels. So, if you have the money, book 2 rooms. Why I say book 2 rooms? Because these contractors, they're lazy, and they, you know what I'm saying? They wanna fucking do their job because they want to get hired again because the results. So they want to keep you miserable, but they're not going to use all the resources. They're not going to, because usually they have an adjacent. They'll keep track of where you check in. And hotels are usually like a racket, organized crime. It's part of infrastructure. They like to rob tourists and shit. Here in San Diego, the cartel has like a monopoly on the hotels because there's lots of government contractors that come in here, lots of intellectual property because all the military contractors, and so they regularly ransack hotel rooms. They'll go in there if you look like you're high enough priority. You know, they got tons of Uber drivers. They know who dropped you off. They know where you came from. They will scrape your laptop. They'll scrape your phone and then sell that information. Either sell it back to the government or sell it back to your employer where they stole it from. They don't care about the information. They just want the money. But there's a huge racket of the cartel stealing intellectual property and selling it to competitors, selling it to fucking contractors who know where they can get a better deal with it. They just want the money, but it's fucking rampant. Anyways, neither here nor there. Well, in San Diego at least. Get 2 rooms if you can afford it. And then only use one of those rooms, and then say I don't want to keep the reservation with the other one. You might have to wait 3 days or so for your refund on the other one, but it keeps your options. Usually they're gonna have an adjacent room for, you know, recording video or what have you. So if you make it so there's many options, they're gonna be like, fuck, what now do I do? I don't want to set up 2 rooms. So book 2 rooms if you can, and then, you know, pick one at random. And don't pick one because you like the number or have you. Literally pick it at random. There's like those pinwheel spinny apps you can get, you know, like it's like a roulette wheel. Sometimes I do that. That sounds stupid, but when you understand how they'll program a language into you, go back to that Rosetta Stone episode. That'll matter. Hold on just a quick little second because I have to start and stop recording on this other podcast thing for the audio because I'm doing this with phones. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. Okay. They're gonna play games. They're going to play games. They're going to play games. Right. It's okay. It's okay. They're fucking with my phones right now, man. It's okay though. Oh, I got there, man. Done. I got the mobile hotspot. Oh, motherfucker. Get on there, bitch. connected. See, doing this shit on purpose. They're doing these. My shit is so hacked all the time. I don't know why it does this. Cool. So we can just do that. We're still going. Sweet. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you gotta do multiple things, but I found a workaround. So yeah, book 2 rooms, man. It's gonna... You're causing more problems for the people who are getting paid to fuck you up, which is something you should do regularly. If you can, when you get to the hotel, say, can I change rooms? Just... Now they got a new option they gotta pick. And then if they say, sure, I'll move you to this room, and it's like on another floor, be like, I got some back problems, can I get on the first floor? And then I have to move you to another one, so that's the third option. You cause more problems than you should. It's gonna give you more space between you and douchebags. Government douchebags. Now the bottom floor is a little more primo for things like radiation exposure, but if your main concern at the time is getting broken into because you don't have a good handle on securing your space and you notice your shit's been gone through, look, it's a fucking learning curve. These assholes, man, they like to come in through the fucking window. Like you don't know. They come in through the AC units, believe it or not. We're gonna go into that more later. So you might want to go on the 4th floor. Think about that, what your concern is at the time. If it's radiation exposure, you got a good handle on keeping your shit secure, then fucking yeah. But yeah, just ask if you can change your room. That's always a fucking option. Here's a diagram of the motherfucking hotel. Yeah, you know, the bottom floor, because they like to beam that radiation shit up from under you when you're sleeping. And if you're on the bottom floor, it's less likely that they can do it from right underneath you. But there are ways that they can still get you. And now we're going to go into that next. Here are all the pathways that they use for beaming this radiation shit out of you. This stuff usually will come out of 2 things. Either there's these high-powered X-ray tubes, they're like a bazooka, and they'll have those, and you know usually that'll fit in the luggage. I've been hearing that there's a couple of medical device manufacturers, medical imaging manufacturers, because San Diego, being a military mecca, it's also pretty much the way Silicon Valley is for tech. San Diego is for medical tech, believe it or not. Genetic stuff. I mean, we had people down here working on the fucking vaccine, etc. And it was a big fucking deal down here. So there's also all kinds of medical tech. So I've been hearing things like, you know, they've got some like compact X-ray laser shit. I don't know how legit that is. Fucking Thermo Fisher Scientific is working on that. They got all sorts of different like compact CT scan based technology that can burst out really, but what they're doing is under the guise of medical tech, but developing them for the military and intelligence agencies for use in these applications. So usually it comes as like a beam, but at the same time it can be like spread out. Think of radiation the way you think of light, because it is a light. And the same way you can open up your flashlight to do like a wide kind of casting beam, you can be exposed to radiation that way. Or you can narrow it and be like a pencil beam. And usually they use something called a collimator to do that. And that's if there's a physical radiation source like cobalt-60. There's so many different various kinds. So usually this stuff will come at you in a direction. So if you're on the bottom floor, if they can't get up underneath you, what they have is on the other side of the wall, they will beam this shit up into your back or at your organs or whatever, up at an angle. As you can see right here, they'll beam that shit straight into your fucking dome. They'll do it from the other side of the hotel room, up at an angle. If they're doing it from underneath you, you say you're on the 4th floor and do it from the 3rd floor. Obviously, look at this one, it's coming right up to the bottom. And they will do it from the attic or the room above you too, down on your body. And they love to do it while you're sleeping because you don't really feel pain. Your nausea reaction is pretty diminished. And see this red line right here? And that's a special one. You'll often get asked, and you don't realize what this is people be like, oh my god, you're so tall, how tall are you? They'll usually have like a girl do that, or a guy flirt with a girl, whatever. They want to know how tall you are is because they usually put those certain class of those devices up at head level when you're walking through your apartment or through your room and shit, so they can shoot that shit into your fucking dome, give you brain cancer or whatever. Let me tell you, they love destroying parts of your body. You can't, replace with swap out with another organ. So that one you got to keep in mind. So you'll be walking and all of a sudden they call like how you feel when you have low iron and you stand up too fast and you'll black out. There's also something called vertigo, where you get dizzy and you faint. That's what it's gonna feel like. You're gonna beamed with the shit and you'll be like, oh fuck, I feel fucked up. And that's because they have it up on a special, what are those things called? Like a camera pole. And they're gonna beam. So if you're doing stuff like at the desk or whatever, or if you're standing up in the kitchen area, they know you're gonna be there during dinner time. They'll set that shit up on a pole and fucking beam that shit at height. You understand? So keep that in mind. So these are all the directions that they can get this shit at you. Keep in mind, they can also feed that shit in. There's different kinds of kits. There's different applications. There's applications that have like this long tube, and they carry the radioactive material in like this lunchbox, and then they attach this shielded tube to it, and then somebody runs around the corner and has a little crank thing handle, and it pushes the material out of the lunchbox into the next tube far away to expose things. And that's usually for radiating pipes to check them for x-rays for cracks, like oil pipes. But they use them also, and they'll put them in the stucco, or what do you call it, the drywall, and get you. So understand, there's different devices and different ways they can be used. If you're staying in or leaving, think about it, because there's a lot of preparation, or getting used to preparation, to prep your room to keep safe. So before you go out that, your life isn't the same. It's not fucking casual anymore. So you gotta plan this shit. Excuse me. I'm not really liking that drink. If you are gonna leave, don't leave anything in the room. Your life is in that fucking bag, bro. Take that bag and everything that goes in that bag with you. Don't trust the hotel safes. They already have the keys to the hotel safe, especially here in San Diego. There's so many easy ways to get into a hotel safe. Check YouTube, cracking hotel safe. If you can learn it on YouTube, what's the purpose? That's just security theater, if anything. So, yeah. This is a video.
Facebook has refused to suppress all conservative speech. That's it.
Now see how I'm using the tape here? Remember I told you get the big roll, the duct tape? It sounds silly, but you can do a YouTube search on breaking into hotel door, what have you. There's so many tricks that they use with a coat hanger to come and do the latch. They know how to do these special things where they use an envelope to, there's that little latch that goes over the door. Supposedly that's safe, so if it opens only a certain way, it gets caught. Well, they know how to close the door just so slightly and use like an envelope to open that shit up to get in. But what this high quality duct tape does is it creates a giant surface area for the adhesive. And basically you're going to go around the door, not completely sealing it because you don't want to die of carbon monoxide poisoning, but cover as much as those corners where the door meets to the wall as possible, all around your door. And I said get the 2-inch wide tape so it covers a larger area. You'll be amazed how that will supersede all fucking locks. All fucking locks. It's about surface tension. You can use this on your fucking windows, because believe it, man, they're going to try to push your windows open. They're going to try to push the glass out of the frame. You understand? So you're going to be going through a lot of tape, especially if you move around hotel rooms and shit like that. And it's fucking primo. I've not found anything else that works this good. Now, obviously it's tape, so you can probably put something like a sharp metal threaded string or something and rip that, right? But that's for emergency situations that people really want to get in. They're going to fucking get in. What they don't want to do is make a lot of commotion. They don't want you to know they've been in there, etc. So this is good for keeping them out of your shit. They're not going to fucking go that far unless they really need access to you to like fuck you up, or they got the order that they gotta, you know, chop you up and put you in your vacuum bags. So if you look at that, look at it. Now you can notice I also did it to this panel here for the hotel door, because believe it or not, I've caught somebody pushing through that panel in the middle of the night trying to get in. So you want to tape that metal lock panel to the door, because that's obviously going to be modified. This is at a little cheaper hotel. There's a difference between the cheaper hotels and the nicer hotels, but as you can see, it's better than any. It's better than any like hotel lock. There's things called I have one with me right now. It's like a hotel lock that you can't open or whatever. They can still get under the door and get that shit. If you're gonna use those hotel locks that you can find on Amazon and shit like that, keep in mind they're metal, so they can send you one that's fucking radiated while you're trying to protect yourself, and you have that in your bag all day, you're getting fucked up. So I try to forego that as much as possible, if possible. It's fucking tape, man. It's primo. So unless they're coming in to fucking chop you up in a million pieces, they're not gonna rip through that shit, because they don't want you to know you've been there, because they don't want you filing a police report, because then now you're logging your abuse, right? It's all about plausible deniability with this shit. But they are experts in B&E. But I'm telling you, this shit, put the tape all around. All around. Always. Try to push that open, even with all the locks undone, the door. Remember, you get the 2-inch. Now, you're going to want to tether your backpack to you somehow, maybe like on a belt loop. But you shouldn't use one of those metal tethers, because, right, we're trying to keep away from fucking metal. So, I recommend the most injury-less method. Get some fucking paracord for like $3 at Wally World, you know, and find a YouTube tutorial and learn how to make a braided paracord like lanyard. And then we got these plastic carabiner clips you can buy off Amazon for like a couple bucks. Put that on the end of it, and now you have something that can't be radiated, but it also keeps your back. Because let me tell you, man, when you walk around with your life on your back, fucking, you don't want to fucking take that thing off, man. You know, it's not natural. That's not natural. Living that way isn't fucking natural. But you don't want to expose yourself to risk dwindling your health, even if you don't feel it yet or not. So I say get some paracord, fucking braid that shit up. You know, get it like, I don't know, 3 feet long or whatever. So if you take your bag off, 4 feet long, you know, so at least you can stuff the loose part of it in your pocket while you're walking around, so you don't have this like hippie chain wallet looking thing. And attach it to your bag, because, bro, I'm telling you, you're gonna be so tired sometimes, you're not gonna fucking think about all the shit you need to bring with you or whatever. You're gonna leave a bag with you, you're gonna leave it in a fucking Uber. That's your life in there, you know? Well, at least right now, it's your protection too. You have to buy all new shit now if you left it somewhere. So keep that shit with you, but use this paracord, thread it up, and attach that shit to your bag and to your belt loop. So if you get super tired, you forget about your shit, or you're in the Uber and you take it off your back, because you can't be in an Uber with it on your back. Sometimes you'll forget, you'll be too tired. You'll forget, but you'll feel that tug, and you're like, oh fuck, I gotta get my bag. What's this video? Check this out. We're gonna talk about this. Okay, so see outside, this is at a cheap hotel. This air conditioning unit, see that crap right there? A like I said, hotels are a racket for the cartel, at least in San Diego. But a lot of organized crime, they use every part of a hotel. Every person that comes in and out of there, either they're buying drugs, they're buying pussy, or they're gonna fucking rob them. Do you understand? So there's so many opportunities, and people don't understand. Hotels are a fucking racket. They're like fast food for criminals. Because you're in and you're out of there. There's no, you sometimes you don't want to deal with the police report. Oh, I got robbed. I don't want to fucking come back here. They know that. So what a lot of these hotels is, they'll like to make this they'll take the AC unit that's on both sides of the wall, and they'll make it really loose, and they'll just fit it in there. And it looks just like the AC unit. It still works. They just fit it in there. They slide the unit in there. What they'll do is, when you're asleep, is they'll slide out the outside unit and then push out your unit and set it down, and then crawl through there while you're sleeping, and then get into all your shit. No bullshit. I can't even imagine, like, and these units sometimes are in nicer hotels. How many people possibly could have, like, died or gotten killed or accidental overdose, and they have, there's no proof of somebody, there's no forced entry. How did somebody get in there? They're crawling through the fucking AC unit, believe it or not. And that's a normal thing. It's a normal fucking thing. So you want to get that tape? Tape that bitch, that unit on the inside, tight. Let me tell you, get that 2-inch shit. Put a seam on that bitch. It is not moving, it's not popping out. I got woke up in the middle of the night because some asshole didn't know I knew about this. That shit was fucking rattling. Open up my curtains, and this fucking tweaker's right in front of my window. And then he had to pretend he fucking like dropped his wallet or some shit. So they try to do that. And I mean, how many people, you have no idea. How many hotels have you stayed at? You never even thought about that. Next time you're in a hotel, rattle that bitch. Realize, oh shit, this thing is coming out. They do that on purpose. They'll fuck the maintenance guy, or they'll make a deal with them, or they'll give them a cut. They'll rob people. Who knows? Accidental overdose, etc. If someone's coming into a room while you're sleeping, they can put a bunch of paraphernalia. Who the fuck knows? And that's your story. Who knows? But yeah, this is a fucking liability. You notice I have that towel over the top. Hide-a-cams are cheap as balls. You can get them off the internet, off of eBay, off of Amazon. You can buy them off Wish. Hidden cameras or small camera kits. So basically, it's a cell phone camera attached to a battery, and it has a Wi-Fi signal. And they can stuff those things in everything. I mean, it's about the thickness of a pen, but it's a flexible cable with a tiny little, it's like a quarter the size of a cheeklet, little camera lens. And they'll put those things in vents, etc. So, and then also, so I put the towel there, so it's like a barrier. Also, with the AC units, especially in the cheaper units, is since the air is coming in from outside, that means that they can put shit in the air right outside, and it'll get sucked up by that unit and blow it into your unit and make you sick, can make you pass out, so they can gain access to the room and you're like knocked out. They use that sleepy gas. That's not a movie thing. That's a real thing. There are people committing robberies with those things. It's getting more and more normal. The police are catching motherfuckers. But notice that. So, what's this video? What's this? Is it the same video? Okay, yeah. What's this one? Yeah, then you want to do a sweep of the whole spot. Like in this cheaper hotel, what they were doing was opening this thing, because I noticed on the second night, my stuff was still getting gone through. I would buy food, and then I'd wake up and it would be a different thing. It would be like the chip bag was gone through, or they swapped it out with something, and I was like, well, I got this bitch all taped up. And I wasn't paying attention. What they were doing is opening that flap and then using like a hook. It went to the other side of the hotel, and the hotel room on the other side. I didn't know that was the maintenance guy's fucking room, and that's why they gave me that room specifically, so they could fuck with me. And they used a hook and they grabbed my fucking bag and they brought it over to them, and they fucking swapped shit out, and then they fucking slid it back. So the next night I had to fucking tape that shit closed. Now, you're gonna, believe it or not, you're probably the number one source of any kind of hidden camera, if you're worried about that. At least if you're in San Diego, because what the shit that's going on here. Is they're most likely going to be inside the TVs. because now they have that camera tech that can see through plastic. We're going to go over that. I'm going to show you some examples of that later. But most of them are going to be in the TV, not so much as in a pinhole, believe it or not. So the dark plastic rim you think you can't see through, they have camera tech now that can see through that plastic. There's the smallest wavelength of light that they can process now with a new camera tech, and it's small enough to fit on a cell phone camera. And there's even a phone that came out that they said that there's something called X-ray mode, and they were able to, I think, Unbox Therapy did that shit, and they showed it off. It's crazy. So they can put cameras now into dark black plastic. There doesn't have to be a lens hole anymore. They can still see you have full video. So keep that in mind. There's also under the screen cameras now that are happening. So understand, if this is hitting the market, usually when a technology hits the market, it's already been in circulation and used by people for about 20 years before the public has access to it for whatever novelty reasons. This is a standard, believe it or not. This is an industry fucking standard, and people know this. So that means intel agencies, etc., have been using this technology for surveillance or what have you. And you're sitting there thinking, well, I have one of the camera finders, because they have those camera lens finders. I didn't see a camera lens. It didn't bounce back. There's no way somebody can... Well, that's because now they have this technology that can see through dark black plastics. Something called X-ray mode. I guess there's this really low wavelength of light that can pass through there that they can then process and get a video image. So keep that in mind. If you worry that you're being harassed because they like to hack your TV and they'll play deep fakes and shit like that on your TV and try to trip you out, you know, you'll be watching with me. It was Wolf Blitzer, and then all of a sudden the motherfucker turned. It looked like Uncanny Valley. It still didn't look real, but somebody just started like taking his face and looking at me, talking about what I was wearing when I was sitting in my living room. So they like to do that shit to you, but they have to see you first. So what they'll do is they'll hack into they'll hack into the cable, and then the shit that they're pumping through there, and then they will, I imagine, capture it, and then they put a puppet wireframe on it, and they start fucking trying to trip you out. That's so you go to a you know, psychological evaluation and be like, my TV is talking to me. It's not. They're trying to fuck with your head. But there's other reasons why, too. You might be worried about being recorded when you're under this abuse. But most likely the culprit is the TV. When you think about that, that plastic right there. What I did in this case was to, what do you call it? Just unplug the fucking TV. I just unplugged the TV. I just use my phone to watch shit. Then you got your tape. So you can tape Google hide a cam, Google hidden camera, fucking smoke alarm. There's a million of them. They will do that, believe it or not. Especially in San Diego. These hotels are ripe for situations to steal intellectual property, visitors, etc. The military enjoys the fact that the cartel is keeping a lid on that, because they also feed information back to them. It's almost like bounties. They can find someone who might be a terrorist suspect, so it's almost like they're an unofficial, you know, partner. And as long and in return, we let shit through the border. We look the other way. This is in San Diego. We don't crack down on them for prostitution or whatever. You know, we monitor it, make sure it doesn't get out of hand. And we allow their business to progress. And a lot of people theorize that's why El Chapo had such a long reign, at least in San Diego. Well, that was part of his territory, and he was able to come across and whatever. Since 1989, do you know how hard it is for someone to stay at the top of that game without getting killed off or whatever since 1989, bro? So a lot of people theorized that it was because he was keeping an eye on shit here, and the military community, etc., was helping him out, letting him know, you know, when he's gonna get ready or whatever. But when this new kind of cleansing of the military community here in San Diego happened really under the radar, what we are understanding is they understood that the organized crime was a, I guess, layer of security here, because there's some brass that came over from Washington and stuff like that to clean this bitch out. So one of the theories is that they worked hard to get that dude in jail, Chapo, because they realized they wouldn't be able to come into San Diego without people knowing about it and without having problems if they didn't get, cut the head off the snake for the long-running dominant cartel for San Diego. And then they just, divided up the areas. Now we got like the Los Zetas and, the new generation cartel running shit around here. Now it's all carved up, but before it was all Sinaloa. The guy off of, what's that show? That show on Netflix. Fucking, that cartel show. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyways. But, yeah. So that's kind of what's going on. I'm going to move on. I'm taking too long here. So, here you want to look at the mirrors. And I'm going to show you the way to tell the difference between a fake mirror and a real mirror. Fake mirror, when you put your finger up to it, the best way to check, say I put my finger up to this, is you check to see if there's a gap. If there's a gap between your finger and the reflection, it's a real mirror. That means the film is on the back part of the glass. If it's a fake mirror, it's a two-way mirror, so someone can see into the room. Believe it or not, I found one in my room. I'm going to show you an example. But this is a real mirror I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you the fake mirror. Is the reflection comes right up against your finger. There's no small gap, and that's a two-way mirror. So here's the real mirror. See that small gap between my finger? Right there. Okay, let's look at the next mirror. Look at this one. Oh. There's no gap. No gap. It touches right up against my nail. And that was the fake mirror, and that's in a fucking Motel 6. So think about what they got in the nicer hotels that they think possibly people could be moving, intellectual property. But that's just in a Motel 6. Fake mirror. Now if they see here the shower curtain, I'm going over shit like that. Look at my ugly ass. It'll be interesting. I'm going to tell a story here about this mirror. Something more I found out about things that they can do, well, especially in the cheaper hotels. Is, well, first and foremost, see that shower curtain? If you're worried about, maybe they have a camera over here or whatever, because you can get one of those little camera finders, and I recommend getting them. They're like fucking $20. Why not, right? Why not? And they're small. They're like the size of a candy bar. And maybe you think there is a pinhole camera somewhere. You can take off the shower curtain and think of the things in the hotel as tools you can use to give yourself a little more fucking privacy. Because it is a weird feeling. You have to adjust to people, knowing the fact that people are invading your privacy and trying, and whether or not they're doing it for malicious reasons, if it's real, if you're thinking shit. Like there's a real head fuck that goes on when you know your privacy or think your privacy is being invaded. There's something called self-edit. It's really a mind fuck. And if you're ever observing somebody who has at least the notion that they might be recorded, etc., you're not looking at them being themselves. So keep that in mind. But if you're worried about it, there's things like the shower curtain, the towels. You can use bars of soap if you think a pinhole in the wall could be used to look through at the other side of you. Take that bar of soap and fucking mush some of that into that fucking pinhole. Just everything in the hotel is a tool. Now, something with this mirror I found out was, which is why I learned about the construction adhesive, is these motherfuckers, like in these cheaper motels, usually the cartel is the run of everything. The maintenance guy works for them. They got their lady at the front office. You know what I'm saying? If anything, they intimidate the owner to get those jobs. They'll come to their fucking house and be like, hey, we'll let you keep running your business. You don't have to pay us protection money. Protection is usually from them. Yeah, but we're going to run your hotel for you. And they don't make any problems. He starts seeing them cut checks and whatever, but you're going to let us run girls here. And that's usually at the cheaper spots. You're going to let us run girls here. We're going to fucking whatever. Hotels are kind of like a racket. We got a lot of Indian guys who own hotels here in San Diego. And you can definitely tell there's like, the motherfuckers are not trying to piss off these cartel dudes. And they'll be fucking swinging from a bridge or something. With this mirror here, with these cheaper hotels, since I have command of these hotels, is on the back side of this. It wasn't actually attached to the wall. They did a clever thing to get in the third night that I was there. They did a clever thing. What they did was it's actually attached to the other side of the wall with some bolts and adhesive. And what they did was unbolt it from the other side of the fucking room. I couldn't believe this. But like I said, all these hotels around San Diego, they're already set up for this, so they can get in and out of rooms, steal from people. It's a racket. All the shit is set up, like the AC units, how they have them fit in there. They do that on purpose. They want to get in and out. They want to fucking steal shit from people. They stole like fucking $300 from me too, of cash. I was holding on to that because I needed it for the place I was in now, for my deposit and whatever. They fucking just went in. They fucking stole money from me. I was wondering how they were getting in the third night. Is the back of this mirror, and probably in most of the other rooms on the other side, what they'll do is they'll get a room on the other side of you if they're thinking about robbing you. And unhinged the mirror, cadenced the mirror out a little bit, crawled through the hole. There's actually a hole, a large hole here. The whole wall isn't there. Walked through, went through my shit, stole some money from me, walked back through the whole wall, closed the mirror over it, locked it back in place. I woke up because these motherfuckers made the loudest boom noise when they tried to fucking lower the glass back down to seal the hole in the middle of the night. And then I look over the bathroom and I can see them, like, the edge of the mirror, like, doing, like, they're trying to secure it, and then finally it stopped fucking moving. Crazy. So, in those situations, to avoid that happening to you, it happens usually in the shittier, cheaper hotels. Even though a hotel is still like $100 a night, that's still considered shitty and cheapy here in San Diego, because there's a lot of them, beach hotels and stuff. But keep in mind, that's an extra source of income. You know what I'm saying? They might even buy the hotel if it's like one of those shittier non-franchise hotels, and they'll set up all the rooms to be able to go in and out of easily, so they can steal money, whatever. It's a racket. So use the construction adhesive to go make a bead around the mirror, because that construction that shit ain't going anywhere. You have no idea. You want to do it right when you check in, because you know, it takes a little while, like 2 or 3 hours to harden. So you don't want to do it right before you go to bed. And so if you're worried about that kind of shit, one second, I gotta get into this phone. So if you're worried about that kind of shit, and it's in a cheaper hotel, now you know there's another way how they're getting in the fucking rooms to steal shit from you. So you're gonna want to put a bead of that shit around and push the glass up to the wall. I say get the white construction adhesive so you don't get charged. And all you're doing is making the room more secure. And you make a bead of that shit, and then you get your credit card, you get the corner of the credit card, and you fucking, right on the edge of that bitch, just make it smooth. So when that shit finally hardens, they can't do that with a mirror. And I would, some of these cheaper hotels, stuff on the beach, whatever, they have like a lit mirror, and there's like a box, like a metal framed box behind that in the mirror to keep it kind of like elevated from the wall for like a backlight. And no, that shit is so rickety. You want to fucking put a bead on that bitch too, on the where it makes contact with the wall, and where the box makes contact with the back of the glass, if you can get behind there. You don't have to be too generous with it, but it still has to make a sealed contact. And I said, get like a plastic library card, fucking Vaughn's Club card. Don't get something that you have to use like your ID or anything. Smooth that shit out, and then wait a couple hours, go back and check it, before you're feeling comfortable to sleep. But they fucking did that shit, and that's how I lost fucking a couple $100. And my dumbass, I think I kind of alerted them to rob me, is because I noticed there's a pimp outside one of the hotel rooms. And I thought to myself, how about if I give this dude $50 and tell him, hey man, could you look out for me? That's why I just told the guy, I was like, hey man, do you think you might be able to, look out for me and watch my room or something like that? He's like, well, what are you talking about? So I fucking put $50 in his palm, and he's like, oh yeah, I got you. So I was thinking I would get more protection that way, but I think instead I alerted these motherfuckers. They probably thought I was some square. They're just gonna go fucking rob me. So who the fuck knows? Anyways, so yeah, keep in mind, they'll do that shit to the fucking mirror. It blows your mind how these motherfuckers get into the room. And there's every strategy you can think of to get in, and you would never think, oh, that's how they get into my room. You know what I'm saying? Like, now that I know there's all these ways that you're accessed inside a hotel room, like, fuck, how many people did I hear, oh, died in a hotel room, overdose or whatever? Like, who the fuck knows what happened? Maybe somebody, you know what I'm saying, gave them a hot dose, put a bunch of fucking sketchy shit around their body, fucking crawled back through the unit. I mean, it's just, you really start to understand how organized crime works, how they fucking pull shit off without a trace. That's why organized crime is an art. It's a career. You know what I'm saying? It's a racket. It's not normal crime. These people are smart. So, check this out. These the outlets. And then you can see here what I'm doing with the outlets. I'm using the tape again. Using the tape again, as you can see. This is how I'm using the tape. I'll fold the flap. And I use a little bit of the sticky side so I can put it right above the outlet. Right above the outlet. And then I put that over the top part of the outlet because here is an outlet camera you can buy. There's cheaper ones. There's ones for like 50, 40 bucks. Wi-Fi outlet camera. Still works with power, but still used to look at you. And when you go into these cheaper hotels and the cartel is running shit there, a lot of the rooms are fucking wired up. There's a entitlement that they run that shit. So they don't care about your fucking privacy. If you got money or whatever going on, if they think you're running girls in their fucking hotel room, in their hotel, that's how they're figuring it out. They got these fucking cheap ass cameras and they're watching. Usually it's in the maintenance guy's room. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll all be plugged into the fucking Wi-Fi doing that shit. But so you want to cover those things up. You want to give yourself fucking privacy. I take the phone out. I disconnect the phone. I put the phone in the bathroom just in case that's used for something. I got a phone. I don't need a phone. But you understand, when you're room jumping and shit like that, these are ways that can be used to just invade your privacy. And it's lame. I learned this over time because, you know, sometimes I would turn my phone off, not use it for 3 days, and I was still trying to figure out how the fuck are these motherfuckers? Because people come up to you and make fun of the things you said last night to a person you're running around with or whatever. So I come to find out there's all these opportunities to put bugs and cameras and outlets and shit like that. And if they're running a racket and that hotel is a business because they got tourists coming in and out, San Diego, it's a beach city, it's a business. They got that shit all fucking figured out, wired up, because they'll make that small investment, the small $40 outlet camera, so they can see in the room, see if anybody's running girls in their territories, anybody slinging drugs in their territory, or if the tourist who came in with their fucking kids, you know, to go to fucking Legoland, if they got stacks of cash or not. What do they got? Do they got a laptop? Do they got something in there? You know what I'm saying? So. So right there, you're looking at the edge of the wall. Again, at the same cheap hotel. One of the more classic strategies for a pinhole camera for surveillance purposes is to put it right where the wall meets the fucking ceiling. And that does one or two things. It gives you a bird's eye view, so you can see everything going on. You don't have to worry about obstructions if you're looking up. There's various methods. And then visually, your brain doesn't look at that because you would tell yourself, oh, there's probably some variation in that crack or what have you, or maybe that's just a pothole. So it's also a good place to hide the camera. So they like to hide them here on the top edge of things. That's usually a classic way, and they'll try to put it in the middle of the room so they can see everything. So keep that in mind. That's what they're doing. So that's if you're looking for a pinhole camera and you got little camera finders. That's one of the places to look for it if you can't find it. more of just trying to find, you know, places to look for the hide cam, look around the edge of the bed frame, because where things meet is something you don't pay attention to. You'll notice a speck in the middle of a white shirt, but you won't notice a stain at the corner of it. So like where the fucking edge, where the bed meets the wall or whatever, they might try to put something there and you won't notice it. Or where the light fixture is on the corner there, and you won't notice it because you're looking for things that stand out in the middle of something, not on the edge. Here's one of those other cheaper hotels. This is one on the beach. And this guy, when he came and robbed me, came through the vent. And what they'll do in these shittier local hotels is they'll purposefully install hardware that's easily to replace. They can pop out from the other side. And this is the size of my waist, believe it or not. So a human being came through there. I was trying to figure out how the motherfucker got in, because I had more shit missing. And they were popping out the vent. And when you come up missing $100 in cash, because I had to run with cash because I wasn't trying to use my card, because I wasn't trying to get, you know, you want as much anonymity as possible. So when you're using cash and you're in a shitty, corrupt hotel, maybe it's being run by the fucking cartel or some other organized crime, they're gonna see you fucking counting out that shit. And they're gonna tell their homie, hey, that homie's got some fucking cash. Go slip in his room when he falls asleep. Trying to figure out how they're doing it here. This is after I sealed the mirror, I sealed the fucking everything. And when you push on that tape, that your duct tape, you're gonna need to put a lot of force on that shit to lift it up. Just with, especially that 2-inch shit, that Gorilla Tape. Just, whoo, it's fucking amazing. So you're gonna know if someone was pushing on it, and it makes a loud ripping noise too. So I couldn't figure out how they're getting in, and then I went in the bathroom. I was like, that is a man-sized vent. And then I tried pushing on it, just the fucking thing almost fell out. So they purposely put loose-fitting things in there so they can get in and out of your fucking room. This one's by the beach, but this solved it then, and I didn't get fucked with anymore after that. I bought food and it didn't get tampered with. It's crazy. Keep in mind though, they will, if they know that you're good at keeping your room safe, what they will do is maybe they'll keep track of where you're at, and if they see you're leaving the target, leaving the target, you know, going back to your hotel or whatever, because organized crime, man, they keep track of people, especially if they're, oh, hey, we're gonna get this dude. We're gonna fucking rob this dude. He's of concern. We were told to watch him, whatever. So they know when you're moving, and they might even put like a GPS on your car, or there's a shit ton of Uber drivers here that fucking work for the cartel. It's just infrastructure. Cartel's obsessed with low income jobs, but are part of infrastructure. And it allows their goons to evade tax, you know, not get hit for tax evasion. So it looks like, oh, well, I'm just really good with my money, and I live with everybody in my house, and that's why I can spend all this money. So it's not from crime. You know, I just drive Uber fucking 10 hours a day or fucking whatever. So what they'll do is they'll know when you're coming to your spot soon, and they'll have somebody, because usually when you leave, when you're under this, you can't really secure the room when you're gone. And hotel rooms are easy as fuck to get into. Like those key cards, I mean, just go on the internet and check it. But so they'll know when you're coming, and then they'll have somebody go and hide inside of the room, usually like a skinny little dude. Usually those places have elevated bed frames, so they'll get underneath the box frame, and there's this bed frame that's like this tall, big enough to lay sideways or whatever. And then or, you know what I'm saying, they'll hide up in, like, there might be a little attic access, or like, bro, you got no fucking, they'll hide behind a fucking refrigerator. If you have one of those nicer places with a kitchen, they'll just post and wait for you to fall the fuck asleep. Especially if it's more towards the evening. They'll use it, and then once they're already in there, they don't have to worry about breaking in, and then they just wait for you to fucking leave. Or what they did in my case is they would hit me with radiation, so I'd want to run out of the room, so then their homie can get out. So cheap hotels. We're going to go over the stuff for the cheap hotels and what to watch for. Cheap hotels have the two-way mirrors. Also the expensive hotels, but also the cheap hotels, they will put the money in for those two-way mirrors. Keep that in mind. You have to deal with fucking pimps and shit at cheap hotels. Because like I said, they're trying to drain your savings, which is why usually they'll put you in catch-22s where you are just roving, waiting to get into a new apartment or what have you, you know, but it wasn't ready in time, or you just have no clue. I mean, and especially in San Diego, it's more so that way because of how the military they're just in everything here. But in these cheaper hotels, man, you have to deal with possibly seeing pimps being mean to their girls, you know. And it's something, I don't know, man. If you want that kind of heat, if you want to get involved, but that's something you have to emotionally prepare yourself if you're in these cheaper hotels trying to make your money go longer, you know. So keep that in mind. They're gonna cut into the drywall of shit, and then they will patch that drywall up. A lot of these shittier motels, their walls don't look fucking perfect, and they know you're not gonna notice that, but they will fucking cut that drywall, or have already loosely cut from one side, and then just push to the paper part of it, get in there, and then fucking mud over it and make it look halfway normal from the other side while you're fucking sleeping. Or, you know, we're gonna go into this hole in the fucking in the drywall thing and more here ahead. Keep in mind the maintenance guys most likely gonna be working for the cartel. So the maintenance guys, he's in your shit. He's gonna give them access, and if you catch the maintenance guy or whatever in your shit, they're just gonna say something. Oh, we got an alarming call, or one of our carbon monoxide things went off, so I had to come in here. But also the maintenance guys, man, they know everything about that hotel. He's most likely to be employed by the cartel, especially at these shittier places. So keep it in mind. That's gonna be a reality. Also, you don't want to get a room if you're in one of those hotels with multiple floors, and usually they have like an exit door out the side of the hotel, not the front end to the lobby, by the stairs. You don't want to get a room by the stairs. They love robbing people by the stairs. And here's a picture I grabbed from the news of some guys who were notorious for hotel thefts. They don't even put a mask on. These motherfuckers don't give shit. They've been doing this forever. I mean, yeah. And so they go into hotel rooms. These guys are right by the stairs. They were only robbing the rooms by the staircase, so they can run in and run out through the side entrance. And they just had one of their buddies give them a key card to get into that side door. Or sometimes they will put a rock there, or they'll wait for somebody to come out the side entrance and then get in that way. But you want to stay away from that, but you understand that being robbed in hotels, it's a racket. A lot of income opportunity there. But yeah, motels, or shitty motels, are known for, look at this one. This is in Myrtle Beach. They're going to demolish it because it was so synonymous for prostitution and drug sales. So if you're trying to make that money be longer when you're being put out on the lam, understand these shittier hotels who have the cheaper rates, higher risk of getting fucking robbed, a higher risk of something bad happening to you there, and there's a lot of crime. So that's something you got to be mentally prepared for. If you're not about that life, just know you gotta stop being a bitch, and that's the trade-off for a cheap hotel, is your safety, etc. So keep that in mind. And you already got this heat on you, and they're probably gonna, if the contractors know you're at that hotel, they're gonna find out who runs that shit and go hand that dude a couple $100 and, hey, we want to watch this guy, blah blah blah, show us around. So keep that in mind. Crime is a business. You know what I'm saying? Usually at the front desk, if they suspect you might be an ideal candidate for robbing, etc., while you're checking in, they'll try to stall you. Oh, just 1 minute. It'll take like 15-20 minutes. What they're doing is they're setting up the room. Maybe they don't have all the right camera shit in there, etc. Like I said, the front office girls working with the guys that are the pimps or whatever, they're all usually part of the same gang, at least in San Diego, usually. And so if they're stalling you, or you feel like you're being stalled, or it's unreasonable that you just can't run to your room, because usually checking in should take no more than like 5 minutes at the most. You know what I'm saying? If you got your reservation and whatever. And most likely what they're doing is they're prepping your room. So then what you want to do is wait. And after they said, okay, your room is blah, 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 and you feel like you're being stalled, be like, oh my gosh, this might sound weird, but that was the date my grandmommy died or whatever. Can you change the room number, please? Or that's on the second floor, blah, blah, blah. Have them change the room. Now you don't have to worry about that. Now they're going to be scrambling. And then if they make you wait another 20 minutes, then you know that is not a place to fucking stay. Go find another shitty motel to stay in. Yeah, the AC, man. You have no idea how those things go. Next time you're there, man, see how easy it is to push that bitch out? They push that shit out from the other side. They'll fucking slip in your room. Understand that they will put particulates on the other side if the contractors are on your ass and they're trying to dwindle your health. So that shit gets sucked in from outside and pushed in your room. You're breathing that shit when you're sleeping. Sleeping gas, etc. So keep an eye on this fucking AC thing. It's a little sticky. Okay, moderately priced hotels like Extended Stay America, Hilton, Home 2. These usually have like a kitchen. It's like a studio. Oh shit, am I running? I gotta fucking get another. Okay. Save. Travel to. Okay, that's fine. I'll download that shit. I am saved. Hey, there you go. Sorry, man, I got multiple phones. I gotta do this shit on phones. So you know how I was talking about drywall being cut out? What they will do at these nicer spots is they will cut out the drywall hole on the other side of things like the microwave. Believe it or not, that's big enough for a person to crawl through if that was a hole. Or they'll put a hole behind the washer. This is specific, I say more so specifically more to San Diego because the cartel gets bounties if they can capture intelligence and stuff like that. They don't want the intelligence. They're going to either see if the military wants to buy it from their connection or try to sell it to some contractors. I'd rather they sell it back to the military, but they'll put these holes in the drywall behind those appliances or even in the underneath the sink, or make it look legit by having the drywall go right up to the edge and be able to fit that piece in and out. They'll come through that way through the other side of the wall, at the side of the, and I know that sounds crazy, but unfortunately, like I said, they'll leave a trace that they were there. I'll have shit missing. I have, you know, saying you can log when your phone's being used. I would wake up and find out, oh, my phone was fully charged, but somehow it turned off for 15-20 minutes last night and then magically rebooted itself. You know what I'm saying? And then it showed that the SD card was ejected. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a thing that logs my activity on my phones. You should get that. You should listen to the cell phone episode. I go into that. So, oh, somebody was here. Somebody went through my shit. There are ways to watch that kind of shit. And, you know, like I said, they'll hide behind this microwave. They'll hide behind this fridge. They'll even make a hole, maybe more towards the bottom of the floor, that matches up to the other side. But they won't dare do it to the nice walls of these nicer hotels, in the open part of the walls where they would in the motel. But they will do it behind things and push those appliances out, and then weasel their way into your room while you're sleeping. A lot of these nicer places have those clocks, and you'd be amazed how many hide cams can fit in clocks. They'll buy name brand clocks, put a camera in them, and then resell them on the internet so it looks like a normal clock. It doesn't look like a model you can search on the internet and be like, oh, look, it's just like the fucking clock. So it'll look like a legit piece, legit clock. So the clocks, you know what I'm saying, the same with the TVs, whatever, hide cams. And I get it, like, I'm not special. Let somebody watching me fucking with my old lady or something like that. That's concerning. They can try to use that if you're with your old lady and they want to try to blackmail you or shame you or something like that. They will do that. So keep that in mind. Take the clock, face it down, unplug the fucking clock, unplug the phone. There will be, you're not going to see pimps really in these nicer hotels, but in the hotel bar, you will see the hookers. So keep that in mind. Just stay away. That broad who's been sitting there sipping on the same glass of wine for the past hour, looking at everyone, smiling at everyone. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That can be more a problem than a quick vacation away from your problems. So stay away from that shit. And usually, sometimes even, you know, it's known that the bartender is actually the pimp. And, you know, he scouts out people with a high bar tab or whatever, and then these broads go over there. So keep that in mind at these nicer hotels if you're staying there while you're kind of being pushed out on the land. You're going to get robbed. And these hotel rooms too, keep in mind, you don't want a room by the stairs. Don't want a room by the stairs. That gives them easy access up and down. They can even bring that radiation shit up without being detected through the cameras. Usually in the front lobby they got a lot of cameras, but in the side they really don't. They'll roll those things in with that rolling luggage. They'll beam that shit into your fucking room through the wall. It's bad stuff. Stay away from, and so they don't want to risk being seen by somebody beaming that shit next to the wall. So they're not going to want to walk down the hallway. They're going to want to. So if they put you in a room and it seems a little sketchy, even at the nicer places, at a room by the fucking stairs, or that, you know, you got the fire escape stairs and the doors right by your hotel, and like a cluster. That broad is setting you up. So stay away from those rooms. Ask for a room plan when they give you a room number, or see if there's like, usually they have a map on the desk. If it's near one of the fire escapes or one of the stair exits, say, I don't want that room. And that usually means that hotel probably got some shady business going on. If you can, ask for soap and stuff like that at the front desk. Because if you got contractors waiting for you, they're most likely going to have adulterated versions of that shit. They're going to pay the lady that cleans your room before you check in. Usually they do that. They'll do a double check on a room to slip in adulterated ones. I mean, what do they know? But they're going to take that $100 bill. They're going to put that fucking shit in there. So at the front desk, try asking for toiletries and stuff like that. Usually won't be adulterated. They want to do that shit to you out of sight. They're not going to do it to you right there. And usually they have like a little cupboard with that shit just in case for extras at the nicer spots. I recommend, if you are, because like, bro, you know, they love to, when you're standing in a spot for a while, for a long time, is usually when they try to take opportunities to radiate you. And like, if you're radiated on the outside of your body, it's a lot harder to prove that you were exposed to radiation than if you consumed something that was radioactive. Believe it or not, if you consume something that's radioactive, it's more likely you can get tested and show that, hey, I was exposed to some radiation, someone gave me something radioactive. But from the outside, not so much, but you still major damage to your body. So they will take opportunities like at your work desk to try to set shit up, at the shower, because they know you're going to be there for a while, washing up in a confined area. They'll go in the hallway in the opposite side of the wall with like one of those rolling luggage kits or whatever, and fucking beam that shit, because these kits usually are all self-contained in the luggage. And you're going to notice this if you haven't gotten exposed by one, or if you got exposed and you have no idea where this shit's coming from. Look at the people with the big bags. That fucking 40-something-year-old lady who looks like she's just visiting, it's probably in that giant rolling luggage. That guy with that giant backpack that was faced to you while you're traveling probably has one of those fucking radiation kits in there, pointing it at you. But they have one of those kits are all made up in that luggage. They'll go to the wall. Usually the shower will be against the wall in the hallway. Believe it or not, once you get in, the bathroom is usually one of the first things in there. And they'll beam that radiation shit on you when you're in the shower. So the best thing for you to do is right when you get there is get in on that fucking shower as fast as you can if you need to get a shower in. Because that's one thing I fucking hate about this is the lack of grooming that you have access to, or that you could have, or that you could do without health complications like getting exposed to radiation. That's the trade-off. It's like, do I want to risk washing my fucking balls, or do I want to puke and shit my guts out with radiation poisoning. That sounds silly, but there's a strategy behind that. Because if you're a stinky bitch, it's less likely people are going to embrace you. And that doesn't, you'll see that they don't think that matters. But if you've checked with our other podcasts, I talk about how they will also, there's a certain chemical that they put in your food, or they'll start lacing your food with, just so this crazy shit will come out of your pores and make you stink like a fucking butthole. And it's purely just so people won't want to be close to you, people won't want to help you. You'll seem like a crazy person. They're going to start telling people, hey, that guy over there is a fucking drunk. You can smell it on him. It's not. It's an additive they're putting in your... But they do that because they don't want people to embrace you. They don't want people to help you. They don't want people to feel like they need to help you. So, don't connect your phone in the nicer spots that usually have like a, pay-per-view. Connect your phone, but just do not connect your fucking phone to the smart TV in the nicer spots. Hilton, fucking Extended Stay America, Marriott. Don't connect your fucking phone to the smart TV. What's this? Oh yeah, they got those AC units too in those nicer spots. They will, on one of them, and a Hilton home too I stayed at, the motherfuckers put a ladder. They left the ladder because I heard them in the middle of the night and I went out there and they ran away, but they were doing the same thing because not all of them know that you know about the AC unit. That's a common way they get into the room. But they put a ladder up to the second floor and they were trying to get in through my AC unit with the ladder, and I heard that shit because, like I said, they're gonna be like, why come I can't push through this? This is weird. And they'll make a lot of noise to try to do that. And they fucking left the ladder. So the motherfuckers will use ladders. It's in the middle of the night. If the guy has an orange vest on, looks like he's maintenance, what are you gonna fucking do? Oh, I heard this AC unit was going bad. No one's gonna question that, and they know that. So the AC units. Let's talk about ride sharing. Using ride shares while you're traveling under this shit. Try not to pick up and drop off at the location you need to go. If you're at your hotel, walk 2-3 buildings down and drop your pin there and request your ride. They don't need to know you're at that hotel. If you want to drop yourself off at a business, right? Have them drop you off at a business a block away, and you walk to the spot. And that's usually in case, like I said, you've got a lot of heat on you. Your phone might be hacked with backdoors. Those contractors have access. So what they're going to do is communicate to local cartel or whatever. Hey, this guy's on his way to fucking Target. This guy's on his way to fucking Bonds. This guy's on his way to go buy some shirts. He's going to be showing up to your spot. Make sure the welcoming committee's there. So don't. And plus, what I'm saying, there's a log of that where you're getting dropped off or what have you. And who knows if your accounts are compromised, they can just do it simply. Just hack your account, spoof your SIM card for verification, and then just check on their phone where you're going, what you're doing. So never pick your destination and never pick up at your destination. You know what I'm saying? If you can help it. In the middle of the night, I don't fucking know. If you're abroad and you're by yourself, you don't know Kung Fu, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll look at that a little differently. Use the function where you can change your destination on the trip. Because if your phone is hacked and you got to request a ride, you got like 14 minutes sometimes 7, sometimes 3, or you're going to get a pickup. And if your phone is hacked or you're being watched or whatever, now they know where you're going and what to prepare for. Bring a car with that radiation shit in it. They love to put that shit in the car and drive it alongside you. But, radiation it's invisible. It's quiet. It's silent. The only thing that reacts is you. So maybe when you get in the car, you don't really need to go to that destination. You pick somewhere the other side of fucking town so they can't be ready for you. So take advantage of that feature in the app. Change your destination. Just because you're hailing a car, they don't need to know where you're going to go. Pick a bullshit place and then change that shit somewhere in the complete opposite direction. This is where they usually set up the radiation devices in the car to expose you. They like to put them in the seats because your bone marrow, there's a substantial amount of your bone marrow stored in your pelvis, and they can dwindle your immune system by exposing your pelvis to ionizing radiation, which will dwindle your health, which will lower your body's defenses, and you're able to get sick more. Maybe they can give you like fucking Ebola or whatever. Like, bro, they'll try a lot of crazy shit. So they like to target your pelvis because a substantial amount of bone marrow is in there, and it attacks your immune system. So they put these radiation kits underneath the car seats, and they're in so many cars in San Diego. Now, I think they only turn on or what have you if you're a person of interest, because like I said, they're still doing this, flushing people out. So if you get in the car and you don't feel nothing, or if you have one of those devices, probably because you're not being, nobody cares about you. You know, or you're not on someone's list yet. Maybe you're watching our, and listening to our podcast and app, and you should be doing it in a browser and using a fucking, a VPN, like I've been saying. Maybe that's why you're now being harassed. Who knows? But yeah, so I like to put it underneath the seats, pointed at your pelvis, because it attacks your bone marrow. You see how I have it pointing out on this passenger side from the middle of where your back is, straight out, because they want to attack the bottom part of your spine because it causes those discs to herniate over time. It makes it so you can't do more than fast walk without being in extreme pain. And they do that because they want to make it so you can't run away from them. So, yeah, keep that in mind. They'll also have I think a smaller device, or it may not even be a device. I think it might be that cord I was talking about, how it comes out of the lunchbox looking thing and goes up the cord. Because those collimators, it's about the thickness of like a fucking like a fat marker, So they'll put that along the C column and have that shit pointed at where your head is. So they have it down here, or sometimes they'll put it and they'll run it along the headliner, and that's the way they have it. I haven't really found it in the door panels, So, but I don't think they think they're prepared for people to know what the fuck they're doing. Oh yeah, so if you're worried about this and you can feel the radiation at that point, I try sitting sideways. Have your back, sit kind of sideways and have your back face to the door panel. And usually they don't have those radiation things. You have to be subject to other parts of your body being subject to that, but not the sensitive parts. But it's going to be a substantial amount of time before those parts of your body start to feel damage. Keep your window down a little bit, because if you have an Uber that rolls up with really tinted windows, who knows, that could be a kidnapping opportunity. So keep the window down a little bit if you can, so you can scream out of it or whatever. That can be of concern of yours, especially if you're a girl and you're in this program. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to be a fucking broad in this program. Jesus, I've just heard some fucking horror stories. But yeah, and then you should also get like a window breaker in case you are in a kidnap scenario where they get the fucking, if you get in the kidnap scenario and you can bust out the window, get one of these window breakers. It does have metal in it. Keep that in mind. I would try to pick one up, not get it shipped, unless for some reason Amazon says we can get this to you today. They have that option. Usually you got to purchase like $35 worth of shit. But if they can get it to you that day, then maybe you can get it off the internet. But if not, try to pick those things up locally, because of the metal. Gives them time to acquire one, radiate it, and then act like it took a couple extra days to get to you, and then you get this thing you don't know is dwindling your health. Get yourself a stun gun. This one I think is a little more primo because a lot of it is plastic, except the business end of it. This one's a pretty good stun gun. Only had to use the stun gun on one person so far because I got a little tired of the fucking radiation shit in the cars, and I told the dude, you need to turn this shit off. He didn't. But it wasn't like a big deal. I think I just gave him a little buzz. But these stun guns, they're good. They work. I would say this is better. This is a good choice, especially since so much of it is plastic. Get yourself a pocket knife. Don't get yourself one of those crazy looking SEAL Team 6 knives. You know, or like a karambit or whatever. I made the mistake of getting one of those serrated, scary looking blades. You want to get yourself like a traditional pocket knife. 2 reasons. One, it looks a little weird, especially if you get stopped by a cop. Those blades look aggressive. Unfortunately, the brain works on association. They're going to ask you what you have in your pockets. But if you have this old, you know, Uncle Tom's log cabin, fucking, well, that's bad. Uncle Tom, that's. But if you have this, like, you know, fucking Grizzly Adams looking camping knife, it's not going to look like, you know, you're out there to use it. It looks like you just have something for picking your nails and, you know, cutting up apples or whatever. And plus, usually those more aggressive knives have screws in them that can be replaced and swapped out if someone gets access to your shit. And those can be radiated and put in your knife. Now you're fucking carrying that shit around, whereas these more traditional knives have these little pins holding it together, and they're just not gonna fuck with that. So I would say get these more traditional scenarios. There's always the feature in Uber and Lyft to share your location. I recommend you do that. If you have a friend, you're still talking to people. Usually, being in this program, they really work hard on trying to get you to think the people who are helping you are your enemies, so you talk shit about them. Believe it or not, you're going to be faced with so many opportunities like this where they're going to gaslight you, making you think that the people who are on your side are fucking with you, and they're going to fuck that relationship up. So if you still have somebody that you're talking to in this situation, then you can always share your location in those apps in case you're feeling a little dangerous, or you feel like it's dangerous. I think I talked about this before, but let's say you need to go to, you know, let's see here, Mesa Market. Find another business around Mesa Market to drop your pin, to drop you off, etc. Never try not to exactly be dropped off at your location. Yeah. I would switch constantly between Uber and Lyft. I wouldn't just use Lyft, because then they're going to be knowing, hey, so-and-so, we're getting paid to watch this motherfucker. They're all on Lyft. They only use Lyft. So we're going to get our people to make sure you just keep your Lyft app on and have those people and pick those people up when they pop up, because we're getting paid to fucking fuck with these dudes. So I would switch between Uber and Lyft liberally. You know what I'm saying? Spread it around. So you make them work harder for it. It's not going to make it impossible for them to fuck with you. It just makes it harder. That's what you're really trying to do. You're trying to make it harder to be fucked with. There's no silver bullet in this being in Cointelpro. So I want to explain this. One of the traps for the radiation exposure is purposefully they'll get you stuck in traffic. What they'll do is, if you're working with a contractor, and I have a contractor keeping their foot on my neck, getting paid to, is they'll send people up ahead of a wolf pack, and they'll take up all 4 lanes of traffic, and then they'll slow down so people can't get around them. They'll slow down traffic ahead of you, and then they'll have one of their guys in a car that's adjacent to you or right behind the car that you're in. So let's say the driver's on one side of the car, right, in the front left, and you're in the back right. What they'll do is they'll have those radiation devices, like the beam of it, to be on the passenger side coming out of the front of the hood of the car, and they'll ride the bumper and they'll beam that shit into the car. Or what they'll do is they'll have a car running adjacent to you while you're inching through traffic while these cars up ahead are slowing shit down, and then they'll give you your daily dose of medicine that way. So you'll be running alongside the car, and they'll just be beaming you through the fucking door. I mean, those doors are made out of nothing. To stop gamma radiation, you need like
5 foot of fucking concrete, and then you need like a lead barrier, and then it's recommended to have a water barrier after that, believe it or not. So that's another reason why they use this radiation shit. It can't go far, like 25 feet or so, but it goes through everything, and it'll fuck your shit up. So check out this video. This was actually happening to me here when I was in this Uber. Was keeping up with us, and I can feel the radiation poisoning gradually get worse and what have you. This person was moving adjacent to us, and I saw the cars up ahead were slowing traffic down. So keep in mind that's one of the strategies to do radiation exposure. One of the strategies they use for radiation exposure is, let's say they're worried that you're going to run. And what they'll do is they'll give you a quick, right before you get out of the car, you'll have a car ride with no radiation exposure. This is already after you can start feeling it everywhere. And this is San Diego because, like I said, there's a shit ton of cars hooked up with these things. Hold on, I gotta check, see how we're going here with the... podcast. Motherfucker. Anyways, so yeah, they're gonna give you a quick blast of radiation usually to your spine right before you get out, and you're gonna be like, ah, and you won't be able to move. That's in case they get a little weird, that they think you're gonna try to run. If they think you got too much money in your pocket, if you may be talking to somebody in another city, and they're worried about it, so they can do that too. Also, if you are in the situation where you're in traffic and you think the radiation is coming from a car, not from inside the car, get behind the driver, because usually that's just not very accurate. They're like moving back and forth, you know, trying to keep with you, but not trying to make it super obvious. And usually the guy who's driving the car is their buddy, and they're not going to blast their buddy with radiation. So I recommend getting behind the fucking driver if you think the exposure is coming through the car, not from inside the car. Yeah. Keep in mind your phone can get hacked inside of an Uber. Yes, that is true. Your phone will get hacked while you're inside of the fucking Uber. There are things called bluejacking. Sometimes they'll have some sort of extravagant, like, stingray device in the trunk or inside the tire wheel well. And it'll fake a cell phone tower enough to inject packets up into your phone. There's a thing called bluejacking, blue snarfing, whatever. So if you have earbuds in, it takes that open signal and it hacks your phone that way. So, understand your phone can get hacked while you're in the Uber itself, and then now your files are compromised, etc. So, you know, keep your Bluetooth off when you're traveling inside of an Uber. I recommend, and try, you know what I'm saying, if you have Bluetooth headphones in and you're like walking at the beach or whatever, try to keep an eye out around you. Is there someone kind of pacing me? Because Bluetooth doesn't usually work past 30 feet. Has somebody been taking every right turn with me? Everywhere I'm going, this fucking guy? Maybe that's... So that could be happening where somebody's trying to siphon files off your phone and you don't even realize it. So keep that in mind. Also, maybe sometimes, you know, I've inquired, some of the radiation stuff is like right behind me, to see if somebody had a device in the back of their car. That's only if you're super paranoid, but there's always the option you can pretend, hey, I usually tap on the trunk when the car rolls up, and they open it, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to put my shit in the trunk, I'll just keep it with me. But at least to see if maybe, because not all cars have it installed, but what they will do is put it in a thing that they can easily put it in another car or whatever. They'll threaten a driver, say, you need to put this in your car, and this guy's coming soon or whatever. You have no idea. Like, this shit is pretty aggressive around here right now. Meals. Okay, meals. if you have like a favorite thing that you always eat, don't anymore. It is not your life. Switch your fucking food game up, especially if you constantly go into stores around you and you're under Cointelpro, under gangstalking, or you're, definitely, or you're part of what's going on here in San Diego. Before it was more widespread, there was more adulterated food all over the county, but now it's more hotspots of areas they want to get rid of people. And then just the local gangsters and all the people who are trying to they're trying to masquerade it as gentrification, but they're really trying to just push out a bunch of people that the military is paranoid about. But this is a great chance to let their military contractor buddies, who are also developers, come in and make a lot of money. So that's what they're doing right now. So there was, at one point, adulterated food everywhere. So people would be like, we need to get the fuck out of here. They're trying to poison us. The police aren't helping, which the police were purposely told to not help. And they had some time to get people into these departments so they'd be complicit. I mean, this was a long-term plan. I want to say they were planning this for a minute, what they were going to do down here. Quite a few years went into this. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend eating things around your place if you can keep it, if you can keep from doing that. So just in case you're in one of the hot spots here in San Diego, or you're under Cointelpro, they're gonna usually go around all the stores around your house that you normally go to and tell them, like, you're a child predator, you're a fucking rapist, you pissed off the mayor's daughter. They're gonna make up some shit where you're gonna be like, oh yes, oh no problem, officer, yeah, I got you. And because people like to help the police, they just do. I don't fucking get it. So a piece of shit can go in there and go lie to you, even though none of it's true, and people will help because people don't want us. It's why cops ask to legally search you all the time, because they know 90% of the time people will be like, yeah, no, bro, no problem. Yeah. So people do the same thing. They'll help. They'll, even know if they got the right story about you or not. So if you're under Cointelpro, if you're being gang stalked or whatever, don't eat around your spot. There's this thing called Falling Fruit. It's a website called fallingfruit.org. And let's say you're having a problem getting a lot of adulterated food, whether you're in San Diego or you're just under Cointelpro or gang stalking, because they use that as a means to try to push you out. They make things difficult. Get on fallingfruit.org. It tells you every tree in your area that's bearing fruit that is available to be accessed from a pedestrian standpoint. You're not going in people's backyards, but these are trees that bear fruit accessible from the sidewalk. Falling Fruit. Check out that website. It'll show you every fruit tree in your area. So if you're having a problem getting adulterated fruit, try Mother Nature. Don't order food. It's a trap. What else I got here? There's a lot of pre-made adulterated food here. There is, I got that article here? Nope. As I went through in previous podcasts, I showed about the Pentagon's. They have the secret clandestine army that the Pentagon uses to do large, huge scale operations. These people all have intelligence training, basic level intelligence training, code talking, basic level manipulation kind of shit. But then they run fake businesses. They have a fake identity, and that's their job in intelligence. It's a very low level job, but it's about working as a large organized group. And these people are here in San Diego right now. Newsweek broke that story. 60,000 people. All clandestine, running fake lives. They have fake businesses. They have fake names. And they go places and they slowly infiltrate it. Believe it or not, they copied this system from the fucking Russians. They found out about this group. It's humongous. And so the Pentagon, starting in like 2008 or something like that, started their version of it. And there's a substantial amount of that 60,000 here. I think around 18,000. And that's substantial in a county if you need a large force. A lot of these people have lower level service jobs, and that's how the food is getting adulterated, getting swapped out, what have you. Some of these people are also CBs, but not a lot. But all these guys are under non-disclosure agreements as well, so they cannot talk to people, they cannot blow the whistle, And they are making examples of motherfuckers here by killing them. People who talk. They're doing it with strong arm because this is a contractor army, not personnel of the army. These people are contractors. So these contractors, they run by different rules. They fucking murk people. They will make examples. They do that shit. So there were some people helping me. I didn't know they were helping me, unfortunately, because I was running around with my head cut off. It wasn't because, you know what I'm saying, like, I was trying to get fucking people fucking fucked up, dude. When you're going through this, they give you so many different things to grab onto, you don't know what is real. It's purpose disillusionment. We have a whole podcast on that. They're making examples of people who were fucking telling other people around town about what was going on. They fucking killed them. They made it look like accidents. So some of the things you can check around the food here is they'll open up bags of chips and they'll fucking sprinkle in shit, reseal it up. You can kind of tell which ones are the ones that have been resealed because the reseal's all snaggletooth looking, and usually the bags aren't very puffed up. Usually when the stuff comes from the manufacturer and hasn't been tampered the whole way, the bag is full of air, right? We all know that. Chip bag's full of air. So they'll be a little deflated, and then that part of the edge won't look like a clean seal. It'll kind of be like, because they use these heaters, these battery operated hand heaters to reseal the bags after they adulterate them. They're unscrewing the caps of a lot of these drinks, canned drinks. Here's a thing you can buy off the internet. Just pops these caps right off. Here you can see right here of a home canner up front, and they're adulterating that and then resealing them. So a lot of the cans here, like this one, which is why I said I don't know if I like the taste of this one. They don't pop right. You know what I'm saying? They don't sound right when you try to open them. They taste weird. A lot of people are saying there's like high concentration alcohol in a lot of this stuff, so it attacks your liver, like Everclear kind of alcohol. They say they're putting that in everything. So a lot of people's kidneys and livers get taxed, and their pancreases. Some people are saying they're putting different kinds of chemicals in it. I don't know, but that's what they're doing to the pop sodas here. And I think it's more concentrated now to certain areas they're trying to flush out than all over the county where it was in 2016, 2017. Which, by the way, I went to CNN, I went to the LA Times, I went to BuzzFeed, I went to numerous news outlets in LA because they were all compromised here. None of those motherfuckers helped us. So fuck CNN, fuck BuzzFeed, fuck the LA Times, fuck so many of those guys down there. They really sold everyone out. I dropped stacks of notes, my contact info. I told them the stories, what's going on. These motherfuckers did not respond. This is 2006, 2017. People are eating this fucking poison. The plastic containers here, what they're doing is they're running them under hot water, so the cap comes off in one piece, and then they have a replacement cap. They're getting them from the bottlers, I'm finding out around here. They're putting adulterated substance in, re-screwing them so it doesn't look like the cap is being popped off. You can go on YouTube and find out this is how a lot of people do this. How they try to get these things into music festivals. They'll fill them full of fucking liquor and stuff like that, and look like the seal isn't broken so they can get into music festivals by running the caps for 2 liters, 20 liters under hot water, getting them really loose because plastic gets warm, and then they pop that off and then they put on a new one and no one knows the difference. So yeah, that filter matters. You can always, if you need to buy food that's cold and you're in these hotels, understand you can get ice and use like the sink as a temporary ice cooler or ice chest. You can also melt ice. Not all of the ice. The ice is also adulterated. Some of the ice that are on here is adulterated, but it tends to be a little less adulterated. Or you get lucky and you get some ice that hasn't been adulterated. What they usually like to do is just sprinkle. They'll poke a bunch of holes in the bag and then they'll sprinkle a bunch of shit over the bags, and it'll soak into the ice, and then they'll refreeze the ice, and that substance will refreeze over the actual ice cubes. So you think about ways you can get clean water around here if you are in that situation. There's this is clean water, even though it's in the toilet. This water, when it hits the tank, is clean, just like the stuff that comes out of the tap. Usually they try to, there's like a hose that goes into the tap. They'll try to put some like pellets in there, and the water will run over it and taint the water. Or they'll usually put it closer up by the line, so you can always try to get clean water via the toilet tank or this little thing if you're really dying, and you put it through your filter. See if that works. Some of these are tampered, some of them aren't. In the nicer hotels like Hilton, Home 2, fucking Marriott, extended stay, the shower water, they have a hard time getting past, because those hotels are usually really built really nice. So it's not one of like those shitty Motel 6s where they have access to everything and they got adulterate shit. So I was getting clean water out of the fucking shower the whole time I was in Hilton Home 2. I was still getting exposed like a motherfucker to radiation, but the water was clean. It was good. If you're gonna get pre-made stuff from the deli, that's a hit or miss thing, especially if you're in San Diego and you're still around here and you're one of the hot spots that still has a lot of adulterated food. Or if you're under Cointelpro in another part of the country, or gangstalking, these things aren't as secure as you think. They seal these things back in the deli, so they have all the tools necessary to make it look like a clean piece of whatever. It's all prepped food in the back. One of the things I notice if I'm going to go shopping, and I don't want them to know what store I'm going to be in, so usually I don't get harassed, because they also like to harass you while you're shopping. I just turn my fucking phone off. It's the easiest way not to get hacked. If you're in a public place and you're not worried, I mean, you still have your body camera on you. Something I've preached: get a fucking body camera. Get a body camera. Yeah, just turn off your fucking phone. Keep in mind, San Diego is home to the largest concentration of military personnel. Decisions happen in the Pentagon, but that shit happens in San Diego. We've got a huge naval base here. Fast attack submarines constantly dock here. There's so many contractors, Northrop Grumman, General Atomics, Booz Allen Hamilton, like huge bases of operation here for these guys. So keep in mind, the situation I'm describing of all these adulterated food is only happening because of what San Diego is and what the dominating, factor is on who dictates policy. It is a fascist state here, masquerading as a beautiful, not a retirement city, but a resort town at the moment. So there's just, like I said, this Pentagon force of people, there's thousands, around somebody said around 18,000 of them here. And that's substantial when you're trying to take over a city's infrastructure and push people out, and you need people to be quiet while you're doing a lot of illegal things. But the government's hands are clean because they're all contractors. Crazy, right? But yeah, so a lot of the shit I'm describing here, it's not for everyone who's in gangstalking, but I'm under Cointelpro, and I'm under Cointelpro while the city's being quietly fucking attacked at the moment. So let's talk about leisure, because you're gonna want to do shit because you want to live a normal life. You want to feel like things are normal. So sometimes you will do things even though it's a risk. You're just like, I want to live a normal life. I'm gonna go to the fucking beach today. I'm gonna go ride a roller coaster. I want to go see a movie. I want to feel like a normal human while you're under this shit. Keep in mind that I've been downtown San Diego. These motherfuckers do not want me here because I'm talking about all the things they do not like. So in downtown San Diego, there's radiation devices just installed. Fully installed everywhere. That is the Navy's backyard. From what I was hearing, the CBs were responsible for outfitting, retrofitting buildings, hotels, street infrastructure with these devices to push motherfuckers out. You can't hear it, you can't see it, but they from what I'm understanding is you're being tracked by your phone, And if you're, even when your phone's off, believe it or not, they can get a GPS signal. So from what I'm understanding is your phone is the thing setting these things off downtown. But they also have vans and people inside businesses and stuff like that that are running cover businesses, because like I said, 70% of the businesses and the people that are working downtown, at least San Diego right now, are contractors pretending to work shit jobs because they're trying to clean house but silently. So I'm saying, there's lots of nice parks here in San Diego. We got a lot of stuff like World's Fair buildings and shit like that left over, these botanical gardens. But these devices, they're fucking everywhere, or they have mobile versions of it, or they have more pocket versions that are more like annoying things. I don't think all of them are radiation based, or ionizing radiation. I think some of them are based off that phaser rifle technology. You can look it up, it's a real thing. But they're more handheld, they're more like an annoyance. Or they hurt really bad. Even though you're at one of these amusement parks, let's say around here you got an amusement park, or the zoo, or Legoland, or whatever, just keep an eye on your food, man, because a lot of these guys are adulterating food. Using these Visine bottles, they'll keep them in their hand so you can't notice them, and they'll fucking squirt that shit in there. You will never even notice it. This is the same method douchebags use to put shit in girls' drinks. They pre-dilute it, and so they're doing that shit to people's food down here, especially if they're not supposed to be here, or they put them on the list not to be here. When you're usually at these amusement parks and stuff like that, more leisure environments, and you're feeling like you're getting radiation dose, usually look for the ladies with the handbags. The reason why they use the women with these things is two reasons. You're not gonna fucking knock out a woman in public, especially for a thing that's invisible and you can't hear it. But they'll have these devices in their fucking bags, and they'll point their bags at you. And there's even locals doing this shit, because a lot of these locals are being told that what is going on is it's the same thing that gets people excited about, like the fucking Pizzagate. Remember? People got so excited. Some guy showed up with a fucking gun and shot it into the floor. Remember that? So what they do is they sensationalize these things, and they tell people around town, people are starting to notice things. They'd be like, well, we're trying to get rid of there's like an army of child predators here. We're trying to get rid of them. We're going to need you to be our special deputy. Whatever. That's literally what's going on. So people ask questions, we'll tell them some sensational bullshit. Get them to help. And so there'll be local people that are locals and shit like that, doing this shit, told to go and do this to certain people too. Keep that in mind. That's what's going on. But if you're feeling like you're getting exposed, start looking around, seeing if, usually it's long ways, so they can project it out. It's not from the fat side of the bag. But look for the big ass handbags. I even recommend getting like a Geiger counter, maybe putting it in like a hot spot. They like to shoot me in the spine. They like to shoot me in the dome. Believe it or not, I had a smaller version of this. I kept it in the front of my hat for a while, and it would go off sometimes. Believe it or not. But put that in your backpack. If somebody's trying to hit you with some of that stuff, so you hear this thing going off in your backpack. It shouldn't be going off at all. But if you start to hear that shit, then you're like, oh fuck, I'm getting hit. So if you want to still do leisure, put that shit in your backpack, turn it on, leave it on, maybe bring a couple extra batteries. I don't know how efficient these things are at running. Don't forget your ugly shorts. It's most likely going to keep your shit more safe than anything. Be wary of people walking around you at these parks. People trying to scrape your phone, blue jacking, blue snarfing, blue bugging. It hijacks the Bluetooth. If you're really, really worried about that and you still need your headphones, get USB-C wired headphones. even though that's not cool anymore. It's more safe. Don't have your Bluetooth on. You can't get your files scraped around here. But yeah, you can still do arcades, go-karts, zoos, museums, whatever. I mean, that's half of this shit is about trying to feel fucking normal, you know? So, keep that in mind. You gotta still feel normal. And this does a lot of damage to your mind. Because you feel like you're not allowed to trust anyone. You're constantly under health complications. You're in and out of the hospital. You're gonna need to feel like a normal person, and unfortunately the risks are still being subject to this abuse in public around people while you're trying to, and sometimes, like I've done this, and I'm feeling myself getting nauseous because I know I'm being exposed by somebody around me, and I just pretend it's not there because I want to feel normal. You can play basketball, I guess. That's not around cars or other things. You know, if you feel like you're getting exposed, make sure you're not near like a trash can. Maybe you can have that shit in there. This stuff only really goes like 25 feet or so. Well, the deadly stuff. Stay away from gyms. Those are just like shower. They're stationary situations where you're in a place for one place to spend your time, and you're putting excessive pressure on your heart, etc. One thing that radiation exposure can do is if you're exerting yourself while under exposure, it can give you a heart attack. A lot of people are saying that's how they also try to assassinate people a little older in their 50s, 60s, former military, etc., that they feel like are talking, or they want to send a message, or they did something a while back and they want to fucking make sure. Yeah. So stay away from gyms. Go to the local track where there's no things around that could fucking beam shit at you or whatever. Go walk during the day. Make sure maybe there's other people around in case somebody tries to fucking rob you or whatever, but that's an option. Stay away from the fucking gym. And all else feels, just fucking go home. Watch Netflix. Let's talk about retail. Buying socks and underwear might be better because, like I said, you're gonna have to wear the same couple of items. Your life is in that fucking backpack. Shit can happen to you at the fucking, what do you call it? Laundromat. And it might just be better for you to wear the shit out of things a little bit before you fucking think you're funky, too funky, and just buying new shit and throwing out your old shit. Instead of sticking around a laundromat for 2 hours while they try to figure out how they're going to expose you to something, how they figure out they're going to try to taint the things that you're wearing. So then that 2 hours you spent there, they'll walk around. They're fast, bro. They'll walk around and fucking boom, put that shit inside in the soap box or what have you. So it might just be more beneficial for you to wear your shit, buy the primo shit, the breathable sports shit. They make drawers out of that, or like shorts, and wearing the shit out of it, throwing it away, and just buying new ones. I mean, if you wear them prolongedly, you just have to not get in situations where you're getting sweaty. And if you can't bathe, at least do a fucking military shower, which is pretty much baby wipes. It's a fucking nightmare to fucking live like this, but whatever. Wear that shit, buy new shit. I would say over cleaning shit. If you run out of things all of a sudden, try not to run out of shit all of a sudden. Because like I said, most likely if you're in this program, or you're here in San Diego and you know you got people fucking do not like you, or know that or are trying to push you the fuck out of here, they're going to keep track of when you need more shit, and they will be waiting for you. Welcoming committee. So if you run out of duct tape, or they know you're about to, they might make sure, hey, so-and-so's about to run out of duct tape. We need you to be on standby near the duct tape. We want you to fucking put that shit up in the mezzanine, beaming down. So when they go to pick that shit up, boom, we get them a good dose. That sounds crazy, but San Diego's is kind of a crazy thing right now. Turn your phone off. That always works too when you're gonna go shopping for shit. Especially if you're around so many people. You already got your fucking body cam on you. So you're not worried about if you get abuse and losing that footage. Stay away from buying shit that's metal. Metal can be radiated. Buy plastic stuff. If you're gonna buy food, especially here in San Diego right now, they got so much adulterated shit. Look at it. Does it look like it was perfect coming from the manufacturer? Does it look a little worn? Is the frozen food box a little wilty? Does it feel a little waterlogged? It does not feel like a crisp box. Does it feel like it was sitting out, getting ready for people to adulterate the product, reseal it, and put it back on the shelf? Did the seals not look like it was vacuum sealed? Does it look like it was just pushed back on there and there's bubbles underneath it? Keep that in mind when you're buying shit around, at least in San Diego. But this is also something you could worry about if you're in Cointelpro, another part of the country. Try not to buy shit here, electronics. A lot of electronic stores are full of hack shit already. Like I said, they got this Pentagon contractor force here. Thousands. A lot of them know how to fucking rig this shit up. They do it in the back and they put it out on the floor. Just so much shit is just... I recommend if you're gonna fucking make a major purchase like this and you live in San Diego right now, fucking go to Riverside or something. Just don't do that shit here. Casey Neistat has a pretty good system. He's got nothing to do with this, but after you buy something, a good way to keep them, because right, we live in a mass consumer society, so you can't see it on this, but I carved the shit out of this. I put a bunch of immature cuss words on it, so no one's going to want to steal this and use this. When you buy things and you don't want them swapped out for hacked versions of things when you're not looking, when you're sleeping and you're still not good at keeping people from getting in your spot, fucking customize them. Do the Casey Neistat thing. Go to Casey Neistat's fucking YouTube page. I think he's got a whole episode on what he does with his glasses. Think about doing that with your fucking electronics. Start carving it up. Get immature. Pretend that shit, is a binder in 6th grade. Put Stussies on it. Stussy S's and stuff. Scratch it up. Paint some shit on it. Customize it a little bit. So it's yours, so they can't fucking swap it out. And it's a hacked version. Oh, here's that shit I was talking about. So see that camera phone? Right there on the top? Right there. There's this X-ray mode. Look at it. Can look through this Apple TV plastic. And what they do now is they can put the cameras on the other side, inside the plastic, looking out. And they're able to capture a certain wavelength of light. So now they can literally see through hard plastic. It's called X-ray mode. So keep that in mind. I'm about to lose my batteries, so I better plug in to this thing I keep bragging about. Perfecto. So yeah, so they can put these cameras inside electronics. So try not to make major purchases here. Go somewhere else. Just go to another county or some shit. Go visit your relatives in fucking Arizona, fucking Vegas. Go buy that shit there. Bring it home. Because San Diego is just so much of our shit is pre-hacked because they're hyper paranoid right now. They're trying to, They fucking got these motherfuckers over here pretending to have these simple ass jobs. Literally pretending. They're under NDAs. They can't talk about it, whatever. They're contractors. Pretending to work at Walmart, Pizza Hut. Blah, blah, blah. Keep in mind, if you buy clothing items, they can be sprayed with things. Your skin is an organ. It's going to consume that shit. And it is going to seep in your skin. It's going to make you sick. Watch out for that. Stay away from the travel size shit. I know you're trying to save space in your box, but if you need to buy something, buy the full size thing. Because, especially in San Diego right now, the travel size, they know people are low on money. They call people around town who are already doing the backpack thing Ninja Turtles. I guess it looks like a fucking shell. They're calling us turtles too. Because we're not getting the hint that the fucking Pentagon and military does not want us here for whatever reason. A lot of people are holding on around here. Well, there still is some people. I don't know, a lot of people. But they're calling us turtles, Ninja Turtles, because they're exposing us to radiation. So they throw in the joke Ninja Turtle, because if you know the origin story. But anyways, buy the full size thing. Don't buy the travel size, because they know people are trying to make their money long, or keep their money long, so they can stay here until the government stops having a fucking bitch fit. A lot of people are trying to stick it out. They know what's going on, but they know they're not going to get anywhere with the media, like most of us. So that's what's going on there. I was hearing for a while how they are able to sell things to people who know what's going on and keep them safe. Is they had like they have like Facebook groups and WeChat groups, etc., and they're sending out a calendar of times of day, certain products that are going to be laid out that aren't being adulterated, aren't modified, whatever. And then some people were saying that they found out the system was usually have like coupon books in the front of their current deals, and then they're, you know how you say the word cutting the cheese and it means you're actually cutting the cheese, but it also means you're farting. So they're supposedly double entendres in the deals flyers that they put in the front of these places that signal to people who know what the fuck is going on, the contractors, because there's thousands here. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like going to like a college. You don't know everybody there, but everyone knows why you're there. So supposedly that's also the way they're doing it. I heard that the San Diego Reader has already been pretty much overtaken by these people. They just infiltrated the fuck out of the paper, because that was a local trusted kind of source of shit going on here. Anyways, so that's kind of something that's going on. It's a little side note. Don't buy shitty. If you do buy electronics, at least around San Diego, I don't know if you're under Cointelpro or gangstalking, but at least in San Diego, don't buy the shitty electronics and connect your phone to it, like Bluetooth. Buy the name brand shit, because most likely the China shit, the name brand, off-brand, cheaper shit that you can buy has been hacked, soldered, whatever. If you are gonna buy shit, get stuff that is the nice shit. Unfortunately, don't forget to buy the tape. Don't run out of tape. When you get down to your first roll, maybe think about getting another one. So remember to squash that tube so it lays flat so you can fit more shit in your bag. And if you're going to get orders, don't deliver it to your house. If you're in San Diego at least, drop it off in one of these Amazon boxes. If you're under Cointelpro or gangstalking, I recommend the same thing. Because most likely, if you're under gangstalking or Cointelpro in another part of the country, what they're going to do is they're going to find out who your driver is. Usually it's some dickhead cop who, you know what I'm saying, has no problem getting his hands dirty. I go tell him that you're fucking, you know, the devil. And hey, just between you and me, if you see his name pop up on one of your orders, let me know. And, you know what I'm saying, we'll see what's going on. And all my packages are all gone through. All of them. When I get them, it's like a fucking child taped it shit back together. I'll get you know how they let you know, oh, your item's 10 stops away. Then it just won't show up for 3 hours. So you know that what happened is somebody is fucking going through my shit and gonna give it back to the driver. So just deliver to one of these boxes. Save yourself some headache. And then alternate boxes these Amazon pickup boxes. So you're not getting the same driver. Not saying it's a fix, but make them work harder for it. Rail. We're going to talk a little bit about San Diego and talk a little bit about Cointelpro. San Diego, like I said, everything here is fucking the infrastructure. So even these trains have this radiation shit in them already running through it. And these are contractors, government contractors, running these trains and buses right now. Like I said, they're infrastructure jobs. These people look like they're lower level bullshit. They're government contractors with shitty jobs, because infrastructure is important when you're trying to take over a city quietly. So they have these radiation things here in the train. So they have it pointed up at the seat. Obviously, to diminish your your white blood cell count because you have a lot of marrow in your pelvis. So a lot of these things got that shit in there. I would say a bus is worse than taking the train, because the train, you can walk all over the train, but you can't walk everywhere in a bus if you're getting exposed to this shit. They find out what seat you're going to take, and they just put the kit near you, so you're just getting exposed. So I don't know if the bus is a safer option if you're looking to get the fuck out of here. For a while there, they were fucking selling cars. What's really fucked up is, at the time, I got a job selling cars because they blacklisted me, so all I could do was find jobs where they were just like walk-on jobs. And there's a lot of people in the area trying to leave San Diego because they knew the shit was going down. I was aware, but I'm not part of the military community. You know what I'm saying? So they just let me know what was going on. But they were using me as a lure to make some of these military people who trusted me. Apparently, they had a lot of trust in me because apparently, from what I was understanding, they tested me a few years back before this happened to see if I was somebody who would like take money in a situation or do the right thing kind of thing. I didn't even fucking know. And so for some reason, I was on some sort of friend of local military community of people before they got kicked out, and they were modifying all the cars they were selling. There's a lot of people trying to get the fuck out of the city, and they were just buying shit up because they couldn't trust their car. They realized their car was fucked up. Once they realized we were ambushed by this Pentagon little secret army thing. Look it up, it's real. It's on Newsweek. It's a bombshell story. Nobody's talking about it. Yeah. So they were using me as a lure, I didn't know, to try to get people to come there and buy all these fucking fucked with cars with trackers and shit like that. And they saw all these people leaving town. They knew where they went. They went and fucking took care of them after they left. Plastic chair comes in handy when you're on the train. I used a plastic chair because there's some of these seats that don't have these tables. So I put the chair in between the two chairs on both sides. And since they weren't expecting people to sit like that, they don't have the radiation. I was able to ride a whole train ride without any radiation. So that's something you can try. Buy your ticket with cash if you can. You don't want them tracking you with your card. Something I like to do when I would have heat on me, usually there'd be a group of people exposing me, following me, and kept exposing me to this radiation shit, or keeping an eye on me and directing like cars by the street to where I was, and they would come by and they'd have the devices in their car pointing out the door. If I had to lose these guys, the train on the coast stops at multiple stops. So what happened is, like I was telling you about, switching out your hat, taking off your fucking shirt, putting your bag inside of those like beach bags, and I would act like I was getting off the train, and then I'd jump back right on the train. And as I was walking alongside the train, I would fucking be taking off my shirt, I'd swap out my hat, and then get right back on the train. And I would lose these guys because they hang back a little bit, and then they would get off the train looking for me, and then as I'm taking off, you know what I'm saying, I see them looking around for me and shit like that. So that could be a strategy to lose somebody, lose a tail. When you get off the train, sometimes, and you're swapping your clothes out real quick, start talking to some of the people that are walking, so it looks like you're part of that group after you've changed your clothes and stuff like that, so you blend in. Remember, Ubers are hit and miss, especially right now in San Diego, but also if you're under Cointelpro, or if like you're under gangstalking and your local police or whatever has tried to demonize you. Sometimes they do that gangstalking shit because they don't want to pay a settlement because maybe you were subject to police brutality. It's a common strategy. They have a consultant come in that's like 30 grand. It's gonna come and tell them what to do for a month. That's a lot less than the fucking $3 million settlement the city's got to pay. So they'll do this gang stalking shit to people and learn all the ways that they can fucking treat you like an animal over money. It's because they don't want their cops to pay for being pieces of shit. So Uber's a hit and miss. Keep switching to the apps. Don't drop off at your location. Key indicator of how they set up the radiation sources in the cars. Keep switching out your hat. Change your hairstyle up. You know, switch out your shirt if you have to. Shirts. Keep an eye on the destination. Make sure the guy's not going off course. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't like take you somewhere that you didn't want to go. Because that would be bad, right? You don't get kidnapped or whatever. So pay attention to, you know, if he's sticking to the map. If you turn the volume down so you don't keep hearing the map saying recalculating because he's trying to take you somewhere you don't need to go. I go over, there's a whole episode about cell phones and how to manage that. The best strategies. What you can do is turn your actual phone off with a signal and use your Wi-Fi only phone that does not have a SIM card in it and download the Google Maps for your entire county or even the state. Believe it or not, you can download the whole state's map. You know what I'm saying? And the GPS still works. So you can then navigate if you want to have a GPS but not be hooked up to the internet. You can download all Google Maps on your phone. The GPS still works. GPS is free. And then get on your Wi-Fi phone and turn off your cell phone, your cell tower phone. Go check out that article. Go check out that podcast when I talk about how to manage your phones to keep from getting hacked. If you think you have somebody following you, you can always ask the driver to pull over for a second. See if the car, you know what I'm saying, starts acting weird, comes back around. If you're getting exposed to radiation, whatever. Make sure you can always, there's a strategy sometimes I use where if I want to go somewhere, what I'll do is I'll pick my destination to be way ahead of it. And as I'm coming up to it, I'll just ask them to drop me off right here. So now if your phone is hacked, people are seeing, they think you're going somewhere and you're going to stop off there. So that's a strategy. So you set your destination out because you know your actual destination is on the way, and then you can just, you know, get out there, and then you don't have a welcoming committee. If you have a car with radiation in it, I suggest you screenshotting the person who picked you up. It has their fucking license plate number, has their picture, their face. If you do get a chance to prosecute people doing fucked up shit to you in a car, you have all the information there. Because I found out that these motherfuckers, at least in San Diego, can delete your ride history, considering all the NSA contractors here and how they're working together with this contractor military army that's down here, this undercover crew. So screenshot while you're in the ride with these motherfuckers if you're getting treated bad, if they're abusing you, whatever, and save that, because they will delete it if you have somebody who fucks up and did something and you don't, and you're relying on your ride history. They can delete it. Everything on the internet, especially if the government doesn't like you. Your internet is 100% fucking editable. You understand? Make sure you don't get dropped off at your destination. Do it a little bit down the street. Do it across the street, etc. And body cameras. Yeah, destination. And body cameras. That's not the brand I recommend. Just pick one that works. Hopefully you can pick one that you can take the shit off of your, take the footage off with your phone. So check if it's like Android compatible or if it's DCIM compatible. And wear that body camera, bro. That's the thing that's going to help you. If you can find a way to hide it, so just the lens shows through, like in that shoulder bag I told you, that's a good way so you don't look obvious, because the body cam is pretty bulky. So if you can hide it in one of those fucking, strap bags that we saw earlier, then more power to you. And this slideshow is in. Thank you very much for going over this with me. I really want to talk about, I know it's let me get to a slide. It's hard to believe this is what's going on here in San Diego, but media blockades are nothing old. When Hitler was accused of abusing Jews, first off, he invited the Red, believe it or not, before World War II, he invited the Red Cross to come and look for themselves at how he was treating these Jews, and they were in these, and it wasn't a fucking, Holocaust camp. It was a job training camp, and he had all these affluent Jewish people that he was already putting in these camps, and these special camps that he was going to show to the Red Cross. He had them playing fucking soccer and shit. He showed that they were learning new job skills, and we all know what actually was happening. If you ever seen that movie, what's that movie called? The Interview with Seth Rogen. Remember how like the fake North Korean grocery stores and shit for show? Well, that shit happened back in World War II. Believe it or not, that's an old strategy. To understand that it's an old strategy to do media blockades or to front like everything's fine here. Especially with technology, they have a real ability to start tracking people to see if people are entering the city that shouldn't be here, are journalists, what have you. So if you're coming here and you're looking at shit and you're not convinced, just understand, this is old school how they do this. When Stalin was accused of starving his people, he paid reporters around the world to write stories about the opposite, so people didn't know Stalin was actually starving his fucking people. So these journalists from all around the world, even in America, were taking money from Stalin's party and writing these stories about, oh, this is a hoax, this is a bunch of bullshit, it's a simulation, this is a, this is people just fucking with the people that are saying this crazy shit. This is true, this is real history, look it up. I mean, the most, a recent case is the Ugandan president, Idi Amin, when he seized power by force of the country in a coup, and there was massacres of people who supported the previous president administration. This motherfucker killed people. Thousands. Some people even say millions. American reporters showed up because finally some people escaped the country. And what that motherfucker did, he fucking chopped up those reporters, threw them in the water. And when their wives came looking for them, they just gave them the runaround. We don't know. I guess they left somewhere, whatever. So keep in mind that media blockades are a thing. The church committee hearings revealed something called the Mockingbird Network, which is basically a bunch of journalists and media people within American media, quite a few. That number's only gotten bigger since the 70s, especially influencers, pundits, etc. It's called the Mockingbird Network, and it still exists. These are people who get paid to write stories Uncle Sam wants them to say. So understand, if you're hearing one thing from people, but other people are trying to make you chill the fuck out, that's what you're hearing. It's bullshit. It's an old strategy. This is real. This is really happening here. So thanks for listening to the Cointelpro 2.0 podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.